So sit back, relax, and have a good time, baby. It's the Fifth Stride Podcast. You already know what time it is, baby.
You guys all right over there?
I've scooted my chair up as much as I can.
Are we starting this podcast off with a headphone drag?
I'm ready.
Because that's something I would do too. Just start pulling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not affecting anyone else, just me.
Headphone drag.
Headphone drag. Good move.
All right.
Like, nobody else is like under tension.
Much better.
It's because you can handle it. You know, world champion over there.
Champ.
Well, hey, episode 10, guys. We made it to double digits. Double digits. That's not really surprising, but that's good. We kept at it. Shout out to the sponsors, JGP.C.
Always free shipping. 6-month guarantee. Guys, so I got cut off guard there. Don't forget, you can use that promotion code 2PANTS. Get 15%. That's a 15% off when you order 2 pairs of pants. Bam, check it out. JustKeyPants.com in the house.
Can't beat it. Also give a shout out to iRullDesigns. Helped us out with the graphics and everything, getting everything going for the podcast and the site. Also Twin Peaks. Cold beer, hot food, nice views.
Go there. Scenic views.
Scenic views. Very scenic.
Are we still planning on having an episode over there? Ryan, is that working out?
We are. We're actually finalizing some stuff this week with them, kind of like our event calendar for the next couple months.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as part of the promo package for 3CG2, we're going to do a remote or some whatever works for you guys.
Yeah, I think it would be great to do.
Ryan, you should.
You know, we talked about doing once a month over there or something.
You should talk in some wings for the hot eating contest.
You know, y'all
The
been
spicy
talking about this hot eating
food
contest.
eating
I'll
contest.
make it happen.
Set it up.
Happen. It's not
Set
going
it
to happen.
up.
Just like the Rooster Wave fight. That's
So,
not going to happen.
Ryan, can you set that up?
I will have it ready for next Monday.
So
we'll have it.
has
Let's do
to,
it.
Hey Ryan, it has to be a surprise. So none of us can know about it. It just has to happen, right?
Professor Allen, I'm ready at all times.
Hey, we'll see what happens.
Coach Ricky might need
Get the
some
mic
some notice. I don't.
We will have some nice 100% whole milk there as well to help alleviate
Don't need it.
the pain.
I don't need it. Coach Ricky might.
Ryan's gonna come wake us up. Ryan's gonna come wake us up at 3 a.m. to eat hot food.
I'll be ready. Show up.
Stay ready. You don't have to get ready. You're good.
That's right.
So hot eating contest. Are we going to go with like you just want to do chicken wings for the first round? We'll do like best of 5.
So what?
And see who
I want to do buffalo wings.
I've said it before, and I'll
All
say it
flats.
again. I don't give a shit what the choice is. I'll beat Coach Ricky.
So actually, the way I was thinking about it is we have them start off. They're eating the wings, right? And then we're gonna have 2 boxes covered. One box is gonna be a nice big cold pitcher of either milk or yogurt, right?
Okay.
The other one's gonna be hot tea.
Oh, I'll drink the hot tea. I like that.
You know,
Put
I'll
some,
drink hot tea on a hot summer day.
just a
Nice.
cup of sriracha. That'd be good.
after you drink the hot tea or whichever one you get, you gotta wait 5 minutes. Whoever gives up.
Y'all should do it like the World Series of Eating. Like it's just as much as you can do in a time period.
Shit.
And then at the end, whoever ate the most and whoever didn't, tap out,
Yeah.
wins.
We can do that in whatever.
Kobayashi was shaped like Professor Brandon, so I mean,
Coach Ricky.
Shit.
it could be a.
Coach Ricky.
So
Right over here, buddy.
how about we just get
slide in.
a bunch
Right
of,
over here.
a
I'm
bunch of
warming it up.
wings, a bunch of wings, and just have them eat for like
My arm's
20
staying
minutes
there.
nonstop. Hot wings.
I think the format should be like 1 wing per hot sauce because we're not going on amount of food they can
Could be.
eat, right?
Hey.
We're going on how well can you resist the heat, right? So
I will continue to go until Coach Ricky begins to cry,
There you go.
Sounds
which
like
will happen.
definitely sounds like this is something we need to talk to Twin Peaks about.
Hey, we'll get the wings done. Sponsored by Twin Peaks Hot Eating Challenge.
There you go.
Make it happen.
Black belt versus black belt, and then
Brown
Coach
belt.
Ricky.
Brown
Oh,
belt.
Ricky's. Are you getting in on it, Alan?
Brown belt.
No.
No.
that's
Nah.
something.
Oh man.
Brown belt.
Oh,
That's that
Coach versus
racial
professor.
connotation there.
Are we talking about the belt?
Keep your brown belt.
What'd you say, Hispanic
on the other
belt?
side of that wall.
Hispanic belt.
Hispanic belt.
I think we should steer a little bit off of this one right now. Again, I'm getting a bit.
Make America great again.
It's getting racy. Racy. Also, shout out to Saloon Door. Again,
Oh yeah, they're having their anniversary this weekend.
this weekend. That's right.
So-
3-day anniversary party.
Yeah, so it's gonna be the third year anniversary. They're gonna have double dock on tap. It's already been pre-sold out in the cans.
Yep.
So if you want to try the double dock, come this weekend and try it. And of course, they have all their other amazing beers. And they normally have a lot of stuff.
What's the
happening
double dock?
outside.
What is that?
It's the Doc Hop-A-Day, which was a hazy IPA. So it's the double IPA version of the initial Doc Hop-A-Day.
What makes a beer a double? I mean, it's a silly question.
It's got 2 IPAs in it.
No, I understand that, but is it brewed twice? Is it? I mean, what's
Professor Ricky, your expertise?
Well, so it just means more hops, right? So it's double the hops, and
That's simple. That's a good one.
Coach Ricky, man, if you touch my mic one more time.
It doesn't mean that they use double the ingredients of the batch, like double the grain.
no, I know that there's more grain for sure, but it's just pretty much that a lot of the ingredients is more. It's not necessarily doubled exactly, but
They're just
it's
more.
it's just heavier.
So that's
It's-
what double IPA stands.
It's like going from like a porter to a stout.
Okay,
Right?
that's a good analogy.
There you go. Shit, man.
And
What's a porter?
I mean,
It's just before a
what's
stout.
the difference between a porter, stout, and all that shit?
So a porter is somebody that works at the port.
Porter? Get it?
And so a porter
Alright.
is a beer made from roasted malt, and so this gives it
Like a Whopper?
like a Whopper.
Like they put the candy in the...
Oh, I thought we were talking about a flame broiled burger.
The cardboard box with the.
No, the candy, the Whoppers. Is that the...
I thought you were talking about a burger.
They're
Yeah.
malted covered chocolate balls, right?
They are.
Ugh.
Chocolate covered malted balls, excuse me. That's in the beer?
No,
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
but it is.
We need a Whopper beer.
A lot
We
of
need a
them
Whopper
are
beer.
Pretty
chocolatey.
Okay, so if that's a porter, then what's a stout?
A stout is just
Double
more-
the ingredients.
more grain and probably more malts, right? Higher sugars, so higher ABV.
So basically,
Okay,
it's.
so I'm confused. So what's an elf?
I think we're gonna have to discuss the elf when we get to Ricky's Monster Manual.
There's no elf talk.
No. All
There's no
right.
elvish today.
No Elvish. Elvin.
But
Elvis.
going back to this Saloon Door party, it's a 3-day party. Does that mean it's a lock-in?
No, it's not. It's
Not go home.
No, we're not. I don't think you're gonna get locked. I don't think anybody wants you guys locked in here.
I'll break out. Can't keep me in.
That is true. Can't
Break
contain
out of
them.
the freezer.
Can't contain them.
What about the walk-in?
Houdini.
Who done it?
All right. Jesus
I
Christ.
think if Houdini knew jiu-jitsu, he would have.
I read Houdini's biography when I was in high school, and he was so committed to like his escape artist craft, he would just always carry around a handcuff key in his throat. He just had like this is
That
legit.
cannot be.
It is true.
Was he like?
Yeah, read the book.
Was he
All
like
the way, all the
part
time.
pelican?
Because
what the fuck?
look, so he not only carried a handcuff key all the time in his throat, he had like
That's bullshit.
he practiced. Look it up, man. And also
okay,
too,
so it says it in the
also,
book. I still believe it.
most people don't know this. He also had a challenge saying that he could take a punch to the body from any man.
Oh, yeah, that's how he died.
saw
That's how he
that,
died.
yeah.
Somebody, he had pneumonia. Somebody like jumped out of an alleyway and socked him, and he got pneumonia and died.
Yeah,
But apparently he did that. Like that was like one of his big things is being able to take a body punch,
I
which is
believe
pretty
that, but,
nuts.
dude. You telling me that like in his entire life he didn't like accidentally just trip? You would have swallowed that key.
Oh, I'm not disputing that he didn't swallow a number of handcuff keys. I'm just saying that he probably went through a lot of them, but he always had one on him because he was always ready to escape.
Well, maybe he just had a
No, you
a
fished it
finite
out.
number. Yeah, and he just keeps cleaning it out whenever it comes out.
Yeah.
you know?
Dude,
It goes back in the throat.
I bet he shit into a spaghetti strainer like every time and then just watered it down to get his key out.
On his
Probably.
toilet, like all the time.
I do that.
He used to say he didn't wrestle, and then he never tripped.
That's a good point. Coach Ricky
what if-
coming in
So
with
was
good
he a
points.
ballerina?
What if like a mosquito flew by his face and he had to sneeze or something? What about all that?
Well, I mean, apparently he trained himself just to kind of hold it in the back of his throat. I mean, that's what the book said. Who am I to dispute
Look,
it?
Professor Brandon,
He was a legend. He was a legend.
I'm pretty sure he had a number of
Houdini
keys in
has
his
no gag
shoes and his
Yeah.
fucking
Maybe
backpack
that-
and all
maybe
I was gonna
that
say,
too. Maybe
what,
that too.
what book is this? There's some
No.
folks I need to hand this out to.
Gag
No.
reflex.
Yeah.
Apparently.
How do you get that throat control?
That's a
Practice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Practice.
Where
I mean,
was
I
he
believe
getting
it.
that practice?
Yeah. He's like, Jeff, come here. He's like, why? He's like, I'll tell you later.
Hold my key in your mouth.
Yeah. You got a key? Nah, fuck it. We'll make this work. Shout out to our final sponsor, Third Coast Grappling. And speaking of, we have Mr. Ryan McGuire here again, gracing us with his presence. How's it going, Ryan?
It's great. I have my own headphones, my own microphone. You guys are doing a great job.
You're getting the maroon carpet treatment tonight. We're not quite
You're
ready
doing
yet.
a good job.
Yeah.
You guys I think everybody's collectively doing a great job.
Thanks.
You're probably our
Man.
fourth best guest we've ever had.
That's true.
You know what?
I think mainly because we've had you 4 times.
Well, you've had him 4 times.
We've all had him 4 times, Berto.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know about.
I'm
Whoa.
about to be a married man. I don't appreciate this talk.
You're getting married? Really?
Yeah.
May 18th.
Someone put a ring on it.
He's getting in a fight. I'm getting married. So
I will be getting punched and doing some punching back, and
Ryan will be struggling to pass guard later that night.
Are you doing the Muay Thai fight?
Yeah,
Double-
my
double
fight's
unders?
on May 18th.
Excellent.
Knockout, May 18th.
So you got tickets to that, I'm assuming.
I do have tickets. If anybody needs tickets, feel free to hit me up. I have them.
What's the event?
It's I don't know what the event is called, but it's going to be at CDM Boxing Arena or Gym. It's somewhere in the Greenspoint Mall area. It's the same place Coach Jonathan did his.
But it's Muay Thai, right?
Yeah, it's where the same place Coach Jonathan did his pro Muay Thai.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
It'll just be
Crew Jonathan.
amateur.
Crew Jonathan.
Crew Jonathan.
Excellent. So hit you up at Gracie Baja. You got an email or anything you can put out there for anybody who wants to get tickets?
I mean, you can hit me up on my Facebook or my Instagram.
The IG.
Berchino.
Berchino.
Bacchino.
How do you spell that for the uninformed?
Ah, fuck, I don't know.
Excellent.
RCHINO.
There you go.
BER Chino.
We don't
Chino.
spell
There
the
you go.
podcast.
Yeah,
No,
we
that's
don't
cool.
spell things on the podcast.
Nah, that's cool. I'm down with that. So
Right.
Ryan, you've got some stuff coming up with Third Coast Grappling, right? We got another event coming up in June.
Yep. It's coming up in June 21st. We moved it down to Warehouse Live. And we're going to have about probably 2,000 people. Want to see some good jiu-jitsu on June 21st.
That is a hell of a venue, man. If for people who aren't Houston locals, Warehouse Live is one of our, I'd probably say, premier entertainment venues here in the Houston area.
You got House of Blues, you got Warehouse Live, and then you got
Revention Center, I guess,
Prevention.
maybe.
As far as venues that are probably best for a jiu-jitsu type competition would be Warehouse Live, just with their setup and everything. So
Absolutely.
we're gonna have both sides set up. We're gonna have one side, for the actual deal, and on the other side, we're gonna put some couches on the ground, have a projector in there, some music, a little DJ. So it'll be like over one side will be a club, the other side will be the actual event. So it's gonna be a fun little.
Are you nervous about pulling it off?
No, we'll pull it off. I mean, we pulled the first one off.
Well, I didn't say you wouldn't pull it off. I said if you're nervous about it.
The nerves are gone now. I mean,
it's quite a bit bigger than what you've done in the past. It's probably several times bigger than Scout Bar, and the number of people is going to be much bigger, at least twice as many.
Yeah, probably triple the things. And me and Zach have been going through the numbers and looking, really structuring things correctly rather than it just be 4 people. Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we actually have divided duties. We have a team underneath us.
Yeah.
So it's going together pretty well. So.
Now, what do you think about this, Ryan? What do you think of now? Coach Ricky and I talk about the hot eating contest. What do you think about having the hot eating contest as Professor Allen and I are doing the commentary?
I love it.
Because that wouldn't even affect me. I could still do high level commentary while destroying Coach Ricky at a hot eating
It
contest.
sounds like there's going to be some crying going on the microphone.
No, Coach Ricky's not going to have a mic.
I believe in Coach Ricky. So I believe in Coach Ricky.
Hey, quick thing, Brian. So you named a couple big matches. What do we got so far?
There's been some change up, right? Been some change up recently.
Yeah, there's been some change ups with Craig Jones. That match with Josh Inger. Josh had a scheduling issue, and he couldn't make it. So we brought in Marcelo Garcia, black belt, Matias Denise.
That's going to be great, man.
And he's kind of the same thing. He's like a Brazilian hinger kind of. I'm no disrespect, but it's the same top pressure, top game.
Very aggressive.
Very aggressive guy. So they've fought before, but it was under a promotion called Grapple Fest or something like that. I don't know. That's a great name, but
It's kind of to the point, isn't it?
It's a fest of grappling.
Yeah.
What are you here for? Hot dogs.
So they fought under that, which was kind of the standard. Okay, no time or 10-minute time limits.
No gi, submission only.
It was boring as a
Okay.
motherfucker.
Okay.
So we were like, hey, this is going to be really a good chance for us to showcase why our rules and our structure are the best out there, because we're going to take a match that was an ultimate stinker of 2018 or 29, whenever it was, and turn it into possibly match of the year. I think that's going to be a great match.
So I'm excited to see
Yeah,
Matias
definitely.
Denise and these guys. Are,
Yeah, the guy's going 100 miles an hour the whole match,
Yes.
and I think that's gonna. I think it is impossible to have an unamusing match with him in it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And not to downplay Craig Jones, but I think it's going to bring the best out of both people.
And I'm excited to see the Marcelo Garcia guys, right? Because you know, you got these guys with butterfly guards. You know, Marcelo Garcia.
Well, I mean, Marcelo Garcia, he's potentially, or I'm told he's coming down. Mateus Lutez is another person on the card. He's one of the best brown belts in the world right now, and he'll be fighting. He's got a really, really tough match against Cody Steele out of the Brazilian Fight Factory. So the kid, it's gonna be a crazy wrestler, grinding, no-gi match. It's gonna be a
Now,
match.
I've heard that Marcelo Garcia is planning on making a comeback. Have you spoke to him about that, potentially Third Coast Grappling?
I haven't talked to him about competing, but I have talked to them about when they do come in, and Professor Draculino, sitting them in a room with you and us just shooting, asking some questions, letting it roll, and we get a legend versus legend interview with a legend in the making in his own right with a leading.
What if we have them do a hot eating contest?
So there is
Ricky.
a phenomenal story that involves Professor Draculino and Marcelo Garcia. That's
And the
right.
arm drag. I've heard this story.
And the arm drag. I am not going to tell it.
Yeah, I'm not telling it either.
We will save it for the episode with Professor Draculino, but you're not going to believe.
Yeah, I'm very excited that you still remember that story.
Oh, I could
First
never
time-
forget it.
Dude, when I heard that story, I was like,
And
I can't.
and I can't forget the way that I reacted initially. It'll come out. The truth. We're going to go over it.
Hey, quick thing, Brian. So, we had the first event at Scout Bar. It was great. You made some changes for the qualifiers.
Yeah, we tried a little something different with that.
So, what would you say at Warehouse Live? Are you doing anything that's different or something that you were going to do at Scout Bar that you're going to do at Warehouse Live?
It's bigger.
Yeah, I mean, it's bigger, but also the stage is more elevated.
Okay.
I mean, we're gonna have more room. But we're still gonna keep the mat space still small. Still a smaller.
It's going to be exactly the same size, or
No,
just
I'm gonna make it IBJJF standard, a square IBJJF, what they have, which is regulation, and just keep it like that.
Yeah.
Because instead of running out, stopping them, restarting them, it's gonna be like, okay, you're gonna run into a wall, or this,
Have you ever considered having a push out rule?
like what like
Like if you push a person out, you get points.
Sumo rule.
Wrestling does that. Sumo, of course, sumo does it. Sanshu does it as well.
But we get
Wrestling,
Well, we do get penalties for fleeing, so I mean, it's a form of stalling. It'll come with a yellow card.
No, but not for fleeing, bro. Like the aggressive person physically pushing the other person out.
And that person being penalized for it, for pushing him out.
No, the person who gets pushed out gets penalized for getting bullied. Like they're losing the match.
Not that they get penalized, but that the person who pushes their opponent out gets rewarded.
Yeah, it's like a sign of
Dominance?
dominance. Yeah. Have you ever
push
thought about
someone out
that?
the ring, so I get 2 points.
Not until you just brought it up. Actually, no.
Yeah, I think that's
I think there should be a moat with alligators around
Sharks with freaking laser beams attached to their heads.
Crazy idea to
Yeah.
do like a 3/4 cage, like the front be the only uncaged, so you have an unobstructed view of the action.
Mhm.
And then have a cage, kind of just half cage with able to use the cages and stuff. And the only thing that's not caged is the front of the stage.
They used to have a wrestling event called Real Pro Wrestling, and it was great. They would wrestle on a elevated circular platform. So it was like I don't know how to describe it. It was like a pyramid with a round top. And if you could push the person off, like they would fall down like at least like 10, 15 feet. But I mean, it was all padded. And they would get points, for pushing them out.
Well, you remember, I think it was the guy that initially created Bob, whatever his name is, created the UFC. He went and started Gamma pit fighting.
Oh yeah.
Remember that one?
And he also started the arm wrestling
Arm
MMA,
wrestling.
which is fucking amazing. I highly recommend anybody watching X Arm is what it's called.
Is
How
that,
about
is that
tag-
basically where they sit there and
tag
like slap box and punch the
It
shit
is
out of
so
each other?
ridiculous.
That sounds
Anywhere,
amazingly
over the
dumb.
top, is it related up there with that in terms of arm wrestling moves?
Well, first of all, Over the Top is far superior to
Don't
that.
ever talk
But-
about over the top.
But
That's where we
X Arm, I'm not joking. Look it up. It's amazing. And now, while we're on the subject of odd sports, this is going to come out of nowhere, but I highly recommend people watching Kabaddi. It is like an Indian sport, maybe, or maybe just like Middle Eastern. It's like
If we're
adult.
mispronouncing it, please help us out. Kabaddi.
Kabaddi. It is like
That's it. That's
professional
actually it.
adult freeze tag. It's pretty crazy. Look it up. Kabaddi.
I'm gonna check it out.
Sorry, Ryan. Keep going.
No worries. Also,
No worries. I love professional freeze tag.
no,
That's
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I don't have to run too far.
No, it's actually I saw a video
short
on this.
distance.
I saw a video on this not too long ago. They have like it's kind of like set up where it's like a half court
the
and they have
zone.
like a little zone.
Yeah,
that
there's
you
like
have
on a
to play in.
racquetball
Yeah.
court.
Yeah.
I used to post highlights of on justkeepus.com. I post highlights of it.
I'm gonna go back and look at your archival footage just so I can know
You
what.
should.
Kabaddi.
Stock the shit out of that.
Kabaddi.
But also back to the matches, we brought in since Professor Homolo, we were trying to do the rematch with him and Marcos Tinoco. And Tinoco, he's trying to make weight for ADCC.
Mhm.
He wants to go down 180, 185. Professor Homolo's gaining weight for ADCC, so it's kind of there's more to it. But Professor Homolo's going to come out. He's gonna coach the guys. It'll be a good time still. But in his place against Gilbert Burns is Professor Marcelo Urapuru
Oh,
from
Uraparu.
Urapuru. I apologize. But yeah, he took his place. We're going to have like a battle of generations, battle of, new, fresh UFC star, new age world champion against, the old legend who paved the way for a lot of these guys.
That's right. That's
It's
right.
going to be a great stylistic matchup. I mean, and it's in the gi too, so I think it evens the field a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
That's gonna be a great
I got
fight.
Gilbert to say, hey, we'll do it in the gi.
Man, I'm excited for that, dude. Professor Marcelo is no joke.
Absolutely not.
And a lot of people don't know how highly rated Professor Marcelo was in the MMA game back in the day.
Yeah. He fought in IFL many times.
I remember seeing him
He
on
did.
the IFL. Like, I was like, what is
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
I saw it was like a newspaper clipping of like a list of like the top 10 MMA athletes to come out of Brazil. And Professor Marcelo was ranked higher than some of these guys that ended up in the UFC.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
UFC champions at the time. He was rated above them.
Well, so I remember this list. Number 1 on the list at the time was Vanderlei Silva. And then number 6 was Anderson Silva. Professor Marcelo was number 9.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a list to be on, though, man.
Man, I remember when Rafael Sapo Natal was still, actively fighting. He'd come to our school every now and then to train. And like one time he came and Marcelo was like, fuck, I gotta try to spar him, man. He looked very like, God damn it, I can't believe I have to
Not
do this."
excited.
Yeah, he's like, I'm old, whatever. And I was just talking to him, and then they started the training, and Marcelo's fucking beating the shit out of everybody. And he's just, I'm like, you just said you were tired.
Man,
Dude, Marcelo is a fucking
he's
machine.
been down for a long time.
He
man.
was pushing Sapo's pace. And
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the time, Sapo was an active fighter,
and bigger too than
Yeah,
Professor
and
Marcelo.
Marcelo was pushing the pace. It was impressive to see that he could be like, oh fuck, I can't believe I have to do this. So like competing with like top ranked UFC fighters.
It's because he's modest. He's like, man,
He is extremely.
I don't want to have to. Honestly, he's one of the nicest people you will ever meet.
Well, him and Professor Draculino are kind of cut from the same cloth in that regard. Like both, you see him outside on the street, you're gonna be like, "Hey, a family man." He might, do something, but then you find out, and you're like, "Oh shit."
Yeah,
I don't know. You can see Professor Marcelo's ears down the block.
yeah, that is true.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's Coach Ricky Rivas that said that. Just to be clear.
Yeah,
I love your ears, Professor Marcelo.
cauliflower is my favorite.
We've
My
got a
favorite
match that's coming
vegetable.
up that's getting ready to be announced. I mean, we're about
The
99
Edwin Najime match, right?
Yeah, and it's about 99.8% done. So we're looking at doing Edwin versus Wagner Rocha.
That's big, man.
We're gonna consider that a 99.8% announcement.
99.8. I mean, there's some stuff that we're tidying up, but it's done in principle.
Man.
I'm
And
excited
that's-
to see that.
I think our new Flow Grappling staff writer, Coach Ricky Ricardo, will have a article out on it here.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of, big shout out to Coach Ricky, man. You've had a couple of articles put out through Flow Grappling here
Yeah.
recently. Is that correct?
Yeah, I had one.
Awesome,
and
man.
I'm having a second one coming out this week.
That's good, man. Look at you, man. Your life's coming together. You're putting out articles. You making pizza. You buying condos, man. What are you, a fucking adult?
Yeah, it's-
Damn, son.
Hey, don't bring up the condos. He got.
I know. Hey, I know.
He's really sad.
But look,
Oh, you
look.
get denied?
No, Ricky.
He got swept out from underneath.
Ricky.
someone
They came in with cash.
I was
Yeah,
gonna make an offer. Someone already bought. it.
Ricky.
Get used to that.
Let
man.
me say this right
You
now.
out there that bought that condo, fuck you.
Yeah,
It's going to happen.
I pissed in the corner.
we're gonna submit you.
Average U.S. averages is going to happen 5 times before
My
you
bad.
find a house.
Yeah, man. I mean, I
Happened
bought
to
a
me twice.
house, and that was like that's what happened every single time. I would find a place, I would make an offer, everything was good. The day before, somebody came in and bought it for cash, man.
Yep.
It's just like you just gotta
It's the name of the game.
That's how it
Get them
was.
numbers.
Our-
Fresh off the press, Mike Trent, is a brother Christian. He will be fighting the guy that won Fight of the Night at the qualifiers, Blake, that fought Nate, and that really good match.
that was an
So we're
amazing
putting,
match.
Mike Trent's brother Christian Trent against that Blake Carter guy. It's gonna be great.
Excellent. That's gonna be a good match.
nice.
That's gonna be a good
My
match.
question is, you're putting such a great card here in June. how the hell are you going to match this in December?
Oh
If you
man.
knew the concepts and the stuff going on for December, and I won't speak on it. There's people here at the table that have an idea.
December what? What's the date?
December 14th.
14th.
Okay.
So
Well, I'm excited. I'm thinking there's no way you can make a better card, right? I said it from the beginning. This is one of the best cards of the year, and if you can surprise us again in December, man.
like I wasn't gonna blow my load, right off the bat. I want to take it out on a date.
Excuse me?
Take it around the block. So
Yeah, he's a
We're
gentleman.
getting to.
He's a nice guy.
He's a marketing gentleman.
Now in
Where's the
December,
condom,
it's
man?
it's also going to be at Warehouse Live, or we don't know yet.
Let's
It's gonna depend on them. We'll see.
let's see what happens.
All
Yeah.
right.
We'll see.
But
There's a lot of people competing for
Such
the
as
event.
who's
House
that?
of Blues, Revention, Arena Theater. All these venues.
Oh,
want
the
us.
Arena Theater?
Yeah.
Nice.
Man.
It'll be cool to see. an
Moving
event
on
at the
up.
Arena Theater.
And that's
Yeah.
like the goal is to get that in the
There's-
middle, the rotating stage.
There is
Yeah, yeah.
not a
That'd be
bad
amazing.
seat in the house at the Arena Theater.
Not at all.
So you could say this is getting pretty serious.
It is getting pretty serious.
It all started like less than a year ago, Professor Brandon. You were there.
It's almost
I was there.
Yeah.
And you were there one of the first meetings.
That's right.
it's almost like the catch line for 3GC3 is going to be Houston Prepare Thine Anus.
Well, no,
It's
the
gonna be
anus is
great.
going to be ready.
Oh, is it?
No, but the one in December. The stuff we're doing for that is going to be completely next level. People aren't going to. They don't expect some of the stuff we're coming out with now.
Is it still going to be even considered grappling, or
It's going to be considered like how people call it super fights. It's actually super fights we put on.
There's going to be
Yeah.
It's not
jet
just two
packs
random-
and
it's not two random
jump
jabronis,
packs.
just rolling around on a mat.
So Professor Brandon,
Yeah.
it's actually going to be underwater in scuba gear.
oh man?
And so, how are you going to score the mount or the guard? Like,
well,
Which way's up?
which way is up?
Luckily, I'm not a ref.
It's like that horrible ass dream you have where you're fighting underwater.
Speaking of,
why are you asking these questions? I thought you're a high level third coast grappling.
Am I going to be
And
refing?
competitor.
You did a great job. You stepped in, no notice, nothing, and you ran that like a boss. I was very happy that you did that for us.
Sweet.
I appreciate it.
I'm happy to do it.
I think one of the best pictures from the event was you
you
protecting
keeping
the
the
two
stage,
the two big dudes off from rolling off.
Well, yeah, because your job as a ref, aside from
Regulation.
making sure the points are awarded correctly,
Combate.
is
Looking
to
good.
make sure that the athletes just stay on the fucking stage. Like, I'm not gonna stop the fight unless you guys are literally gonna fall off the ground. There were a couple times that they were on
Bro.
the edge, but they were in a good position where they were both working, and I did not want to stop it to pull them back off.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if
Because they were both working in a
Yeah.
good position, so I'd rather just put my body there.
yeah.
Yeah.
You did great with that. And like with Professor Berto, my favorite part is he kept using legit, authentic Brazilian terminology for his refereeing. It really made me feel like,
Paro,
it was
Luch.
perfect. You did great.
You're like way better than Herb Dean, dude.
Thank you.
You
Like you didn't prematurely stop a fight.
you are the 3C
You know,
I've never done that.
3CG Herb Dean.
I don't prematurely stop.
Shit.
But no, we got the main event we're working on right now. There's a guy that was on our
the main event for this one or for December?
for this one.
Can we get a little something?
I mean,
It's there's a guy that likes to play with worms versus possibly the best lasso
okay.
player in the planet.
Okay.
Last name reminds with Shmiro Shmali.
Oh, I was going to say my
My
Oh,
name doesn't rhyme with that. I'm pretty good at
Almost
it.
done.
my kid likes to play with
That
worms.
close.
He's fine.
that's gonna be legendary.
Which one?
Yes.
Dorian?
What now? It's gonna be gi, no gi,
Oh, in the gi.
No, not Dorian. It's my daughter.
and I mean, what's the likelihood of that happening? Give me a percentage. I want some numbers.
We're at 90% right now. With the
90%.
With the whole situation, I've got it agreed upon. But the thing is one of the people want consistent training, and with them recently leaving, their academy, they're trying to find their way with the training. But I am told within a week I'll know. I've got it agreed upon by Mr. Shmir Shmally, and that's going to be the headliner.
Man, that's gonna be big.
Hey guys, and that's another topic in its own. Have you guys ever trained at a school where the coach, you don't agree on certain subject, whatever it is, and you're thinking about leaving or staying? I mean,
Like you're a visitor or you're a student?
you're a student, you don't agree with the
Oh, yeah.
philosophy, and you're stuck in a position like this,
I went-
like this gentleman right here.
Well, I went through and we talked about it briefly before.
Yeah.
I was at my first academy was kind of, I think it was just being led by some people that had some.
I think
we'll
we
leave
were
it,
your
yeah.
first academy. And
Some-
you left.
some-
And then the other
yeah.
academy.
Your second
I was
academy.
at-
Second academy.
So I was at Gracie Baja, Texas, I think in like 2009.
Real shortly.
Yeah, I came and got my first stripe and was like,
Were you really?
yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, he
Was I there?
What's your student number?
I was in 2010.
Like I was like 20. I was.
yeah, his student number is
Student number is
low.
not.
Are you pre 2014?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, I'm like 2009, I think.
Oh no, he's
So
Nice.
I did that for like a month or whatever, and then it wasn't for me. I went back overseas and never got back. And then I came back and I lived in Deer Park, and a jiu-jitsu academy had opened up, and I was like, I'm going to try it out.
You thought they were cooler.
You know, I was more or less it was geographically
I'm gonna pass that
desirable.
on, Professor
I'm just
Draculino.
saying.
I mean, do you want a long distance relationship with a girl, or you want one that lives down the street? Come on.
Like
What?
as in the geographically desirable, as in like the landscape around it
I'll go
look
get
better.
I wouldn't say the landscape looked better, but the commute was a little
The
shorter.
convenience, man.
So
I get it.
you wanted to take the easy way out? Is that correct?
In that regard, yes, I did, because at the time I was nearly 300 pounds.
Typical.
You know, just getting out of bed was an issue. I didn't want to
Typical.
drive
Quick question:
anymore.
when you went back, was your white stripe, your white belt? Did you still have that first stripe?
I got my stripes at CEV, my old gym, and then when I came over, Professor Draculino gave me my third right then, and let me hop right in.
I'm just messing with you. Hey, so quick.
I would have penalized you.
You tried to. When I got my third stripe on my blue belt, he just wanted to talk a bunch of mess. It wasn't
Ooh.
true.
I would have
Wow.
vetoed it.
Quick side note: Ryan's student number is actually lower than mine. He's
Whoa.
390.
Damn.
390. So he's OG kind of.
My student number is like -3.
Mine is 706. Just for a bit of frame of reference. Professor Berto speaking.
Yeah, it was crazy because like I came in and I was one of those ones that was like, you see them all the time. They'll come in like, oh man, I think I like this, and then they're like, oh well, other stuff got in the way. I think I was like 23, 22.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to take another contract and go back overseas. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah. Yeah.
I just never
So-
looked back.
so
I was
going-
gone for 4 years over
Yeah.
working in Iraq.
Going back to, did you see something from that academy that you were just like, hey, I'm not going back, or did you just move closer to this
Well,
area?
I've got into it in depth with Professor Brand. I mean, I definitely left for a reason. I was working there. They were having me help out with like some of the kids' classes, and I was doing all that thing. I was actually picking kids up from school, doing the whole after-school program.
That sucks.
Like I was, it definitely did suck.
Was it like the white minivan with like multiple
Yeah,
doors?
It was like the chest, that man.
Well, so was there anything appealing other than the convenience of traffic?
There was
in that gym.
the main instructor. He was a purple belt at the time. He was a purple belt under Andre Gaval. Just came from Atos in San Diego and moved here. And I think that they when I did my research coupled with the location, Andre Gaval is a big name. Atos is a big name. I was like, hey, it's literally a minute from my apartment. Let's go give it a try. But coming along with I'm not a pro, but a purple belt running a school at 19, 20 years old, and then trying to grow through that along with a guy that was a blue belt at the time that was, kind of lost his affiliation for Atos. They were Atos Houston at first. Andre Gaval actually pulled his affiliation for bad business practices.
Yeah, that location changed affiliations
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, so after that happened, they went to CEV, and that whole thing was, I won't get too deep into it, but we have a lot of students left when I left and came with me to Gracie Baja.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was, we just got another recently, and then that instructor is now officially Gracie Baja. He left as well. So
Yeah.
I think it's when you have somebody that has the money or wants to be in control, doesn't necessarily have the heart for it, and they're more out or less to exploit people or control people or to have that godlike experience. Like they want to be, everybody to look at them a certain way.
Yeah, it's really difficult particularly as a beginner to walk into a school and make an assessment about it. You know what I mean? It's very, very hard to do. And if you're a beginner out there, and you're probably not listening to this podcast if you don't already train, but if you are somebody who doesn't train, try to get a reference, try to talk to some people, try to meet some people, show up at a tournament. I don't know what the best way to be it is, but, just to walk into a school, there's a lot of schools that are affiliated with big teams, and they're not very good. There's a lot of schools that they're not affiliated with big teams and they're great. And so it's difficult to make a call about if the school is ultimately a good place or not as a beginner, as somebody with no experience. And I think the best way to combat that is you got to get out in the community a little bit. You got to ask people. You got to try to get a reference,
And you also got to try out these schools, right? Each school has a
that's
vibe,
big
right?
too. Yeah. That's right.
Like
That's right.
These guys kind of had like a contract where you're like, 30 days free, right? You come and do your first class, and then it's the high pressure sales. They're taking you in the office. They're like, hey, if you sign up now, this is how it's 30 days free. It's not really, but if you sign up now.
That's common though.
but
That's common.
And then like the contract, you're not allowed to get out of it. Like these guys.
That's common too.
I don't know. It's the way it was set up, the sales taxes way. I was having to do that as well.
Yeah.
Get people in there, and you're playing. Hey, give me your credit. Give me your ID when they walk in the door, so they're used to giving you money.
Yeah.
That kind of. It's
Well, just
giving you stuff out of the
to comment on that, people get upset about contracts or about automatic billing and stuff like that. And a jiu-jitsu school is a unique thing in that it's a business as well as a martial arts school. And if you want to be successful, I mean, you have to have some sort of business plan. You have to have some sort of situation that's going to create some revenue so you can keep the doors open and so you can provide the best service possible. People don't realize that. You know what I mean? Like, the bigger the school is, most likely you're going to have a good product. You know what I mean? The smaller I mean, that's not always the case, but I mean, you have to. If a person is happy at their job, they're going to do a better job. They're going to do they're going to give you a better product most of the time. So you got to have some of those things in place. And I get that some people don't like those things, but you know, it's kind of part of the game. And if you want to train jiu-jitsu, you got to, you know, the instructor wants you to commit to some aspect, you know?
Absolutely.
This is how a school works, right? So like if you go to college, like you pay for a semester.
Yeah, exactly. You don't pay for one class.
You don't pay for
exactly. That's a great point, Professor.
You don't pay for 1 month, you pay for a semester.
That's a great point.
Even if you have like your semester payment broken down into installments, like that is one of the things that's going to motivate you. That shouldn't be your main motivating factor, but it's one of the things that's going to motivate you in those tough times. Like, fuck, like I'm paying money for this. Let me try harder. So I think it's just an investment in your. I mean, it's just like college.
Well, I think a lot the people who have issues with contracts are either they're new, they're trying it out, right, or it's someone they're not sure they like it. We live life every day living around contracts. When you get a job, what do? You sign a contract, right?
Yeah.
When you get married, what the fuck do you do?
Get your marriage license.
You sign a fucking contract, right? So every move that we make in life pretty much is a contract. So a lot of people don't want to commit, and I understand their point, but it's just the way life is, right?
Well, like my situation was equivalent to like going on a date with a nice girl. I mean, everything's perfect, and she's like, "Yeah, I have protection on," and then you go and you do your thing, and
what protection?
Next thing you know, you're trapped. You're about to have a kid. You're trapped into this whole thing. You barely know the chick. It's a terrible experience.
Are we using a sex analogy to talk about joining a jiu-jitsu school?
Are you
really?
talking about a condom?
Is that the kind of podcast we're having here?
Hold on.
A broken condom is your analogy for a jiu-jitsu school?
Let's keep it easy. A rubber.
This episode has gotten derailed.
What the fuck?
Now, is it a quality rubber or is it just like a
It's not
generic?
even a rubber. I'm talking.
Don't
about
even
where-
say Magnum. Don't even mention
I don't even
it.
have to say
Durex.
Magnum.
It's a dental
Don't
dam.
even mention
Yeah.
it.
Dental dam.
It costs $0.25 in a downtown fucking
From,
gas
what do you
station.
call it?
Well, and you know, you got to look at it from the instructor's point of view. You know what I mean? Like, they want committed students. Like, a lot of people don't realize what it's like to be an instructor. I mean, it's not just a business. You were putting a lot into kind of guiding and creating athletes, and you know, you want some level of reciprocity, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So a 6-month commitment is not that big of a deal.
No, and I think you should pay out your commitment. I think that should be whether you.
You should. You're an adult.
You should really see it through. But there's also some of these businesses that have predatory practices that are like, oh, we got them on the front end. Their first class was great. They got to see us, for this, but then they really get to see the underbelly, and it's not really.
That's true. You know, you got to chalk that up to experience. I think. You know, I think that's part of the game in everything. You know what I mean?
Like, you've been a black belt for how long, Professor?
Since 2006.
So you've seen a lot of the, I wouldn't say the dilution of the black belt, but more or less becoming more widespread in America. There's more schools opening up. There's more people that are going out and teaching at these schools. So I mean, when you became a black belt, it was still like, you walk in.
Yeah.
It's a different vibe then than it is now. You're having some McDojo, I'll say it, like type black belts that are going in that don't have any business teaching.
Yeah,
you have legit black belts like yourself or Professor Dracolino. I mean,
I think that's always going to be the cost of doing business as the sport grows. You know what I mean? Like, if you want something to get big, then you're going to have to accept some sort of collateral damage. You know, there will be pretenders out there. There will be people who are trying to scam the system. You know what I mean? Like, look, you can have a school that has 20 people that are all amazing, or you can have a school that has 500 people. You still have 20 people that are amazing, but you also have 100 people that are pretty good, and then you have 500 people that are okay, and then a couple people that suck. You know what I mean? Like, you have to realize that there's going to be some ratio there. You know what I mean? There's going to be some like I said, some cost of doing business. You know?
Yeah, and I get that. I mean, what was that? Another martial art, Taekwondo or something like that. It came in super legit. Bruce Lee supported it. Like, all these great masters from all that stuff that came in, but then it got really diluted. And then people say Taekwondo, now they're kind of it's like tongue in cheek, kind of a funny thing. People, oh, you can get your black belt in 6 months, or that sort of thing. So I mean, like, it diluted down for business purposes. rather than refining and keeping the quality. They're going for quantity, reducing the quality, and
That's true, but also too, like I've mentioned this before. Different martial arts have different meanings for the black belt. Not all. In fact, most martial arts, the black belt is not a symbol of mastery. Particularly the first black belt you get. A lot of times, like in judo and a lot of karate places, a lot of taekwondo places, that's simply the mark that you're ready to move on to a high level of training. Jiu-jitsu is different in that black belt, there is a level of mastery that's attached to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So what would you consider like a green belt in Tang Sudo? What would you consider that?
Are you talking about my green belt?
I mean, just in general.
By the way, that is Korean, right?
I thought you were an
Korean
orange
martial art?
belt. I thought it was an orange belt.
Yeah. I'm orange. You're right. I'm orange. Right.
Ricky almost promoted you.
I'm orange.
Either
I'm
way,
orange.
he's high level.
Tang Sudo is it's the style of Chuck Norris. If you know Chuck Norris, I'm
What's
sure
your
you
favorite?
do.
Carlos Norris.
It's
Carlos Norris.
It's more of a street style of Taekwondo, a bit more hardcore.
Does it have any relation to a Meridote?
It was the forebearer of a Meridote, right? It
was
the base style of Meridote.
What would you say is your favorite Tang Sudo move?
Tiger Claw.
Well, I mean,
Grappling hook?
the monkey snatches the peach is great.
Oh, shit.
You know what I mean? The elephant foot stomp is good. There's so many. I prefer to view Tang Sudo as a toolbox. The carpenter doesn't say that he hates the hammer. He simply embraces all of the tools and uses them to suit the job. And that's how I view Tang Sudo.
Professor,
Sir.
Would you feel the same way whenever people say like, "Oh, you do jiu-jitsu? What's your favorite technique?" Right? Or what's your favorite submission? Right? Like, to me, that question always seems weird because it's not that I have a favorite one, but it's that I have a more successful one, and it's just because of repetition. And there's like others that are up there with it. It's not just
if we're gonna have a serious conversation, I mean, obviously, I think everyone should have a favorite technique, something that you spend every bit of extra time you have on developing, something that when you pop into somebody's mind, a technique automatically associates with you. You know what I mean? Like I always wanted to have like a great triangle choke, so I spent any extra time I had, I was looking for that. But at the same time, you got to realize that jiu-jitsu is a system, and it's not built on one single technique. So I always think people should be training general and specific at the same time. You know what I mean? Like you need to build up your general jiu-jitsu. You got to be able to pass, you got to be able to take down, you got to play the guard, you got to escape, you got to do all those things. But at the same time that you're working on that general knowledge, you need to be working on your specialized knowledge too. Like, what do you want to make kind of the foundation of your jiu-jitsu? What submission do you want to have that leads into everything else?
You would say that you're sensitive to that submission, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think most people who've trained for a reasonable amount of time they've learned a technique and it just kind of clicked right away. Maybe they were able to use it like in that same day of training, and normally that's a good sign of that you have some sort of just affinity for that technique, and it might be something you want to latch onto. Now, it doesn't mean you can forget about everything else, but again, you have general and specific. You want to be working on you want to try to make your best stuff better, and you want to try to make the things that maybe aren't your best also better.
At what belt level would you say that? At what belt level would you say that someone finds that?
I think it's different for everybody, but probably I would say at least by the time you're a blue belt, you're going to find something that you just kind of feel a little bit instinctively comfortable with.
I mean, your game really doesn't change much from late blue or purple till now, right? I mean,
most of the time, yeah.
At least my game is pretty much the same. There are adjustments because the body changes.
You get tired all the time, just the same.
And you're still not funny. Now that's funny. Anyways, so I would say my game is still the same, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Except for one or two tweaks here, plus experience comes into effect, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, Professor Allen, were you wrist locking people?
Yes.
From the get go?
From blue belt. I would say blue belt, purple belt, I was already doing the wrist lock, but I would say now I have the sensitivity, like from any position. I could be top, bottom. I can already kind of feel
Well, and that makes sense when you think about it. You know what I mean? Like, if you learned a technique when you were a blue belt, by the time you're a black belt, you're going to have 5-6 years of experience with that technique. So, I mean, it makes sense that the techniques you learn early on become the foundation later on because you have the most experience with those techniques, you know? So it makes sense.
You said this on an earlier episode that by the time you're a purple belt, you should have at least one technique that's black belt level.
Yeah, pretty much, you know? I mean, you know, I would say once you have a basic understanding of jiu-jitsu, so let's say you are a good purple belt, okay? So when I say good, I mean you're a serious student. You know the idea behind passing the guard. You know the idea behind using your guard. You know the idea behind escaping and submitting people. You know, maybe you haven't mastered everything, but you have a system that you work through. You understand jiu-jitsu is a system. It's not a random series of events. So once you're a good purple belt, really, it should only take you about 2 years to really master a technique if you are working hard at it. If you are really putting in a lot of repetitions, if you're doing a lot of specific training, you can really reach a very high potential in about 2 years. Now, the issue is if you do that, let's say as a white belt, what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of inconsistencies. So if you get into that specific spot, you're going to be really tough. But when you get out of that spot, you're going to have nothing. You're going to be trash.
So would you say it's like a good double guard pool and we both kind of like...
Well, maybe, but I mean, by the time you're a purple belt, you have a good general understanding of jiu-jitsu, and you're gonna know enough general jiu-jitsu to funnel people into those strong points. You know what I mean? And again, if you're drilling, if you're trying to put in 10,000 repetitions, if you're doing positional training, you should be able to get to a very, very, very high level in 2 years.
And you know, I think a lot of that's happening now, right? So you have a lot of white belts coming in, specializing, and we have that game with the leg locks, right?
Yeah.
You have a lot of people coming in, practicing the butt scoop straight to, which is a good technique, right? When you have to do it, but you're going straight to the leg lock. But a lot of these guys they're grooming their jiu-jitsu not around guard passing, not around top game, bottom game, side control. They're going straight to what they want, which is great for a game, right? And a competition. But jiu-jitsu is more than that. Jiu-jitsu is a complete game. Explain. You were saying nah.
Well, no.
Well,
I understand. No, I understand what you're saying. Like, you have these guys coming in that are specializing. They're getting really good at one technique, but they're leaving everything else behind. So what happens is if somebody shuts down that one technique, they're trash.
And you see that even in MMA, right? It's like the guy in the old school MMA, the wrestler gets on top, he gets, they take him down, they hit him, he gets on the bottom, and
well, I think, look, you got to think of it like this, and I think most coaches think of it like this too. But like, look, is your goal to be a great blue belt? Or is your goal to be a great black belt? Because I can kind of cheat and make you a great blue belt, but cheaters never win. It's gonna come back. You know what I mean? Right? It's gonna show eventually. Or do you want to be a great black belt? You know what I mean? And I think most real coaches, they understand that there's going to be kind of growing pains, there's going to be ups and downs, and the goal is to create a good black belt. You know what I mean? So there's going to be different kind of phases. You know, there's some schools that want to create a great blue belt, and they do, but then those people kind of disappear.
Yeah.
You don't see them anymore after blue belt, you know?
You were going to say something, right?
Yeah, I mean, you said something before about how as a lower belt I won't say beat higher belts, but you're basically saying if you're able to funnel that person into your best area of your game, I mean, that's kind of the point, right?
Well, yeah, it's everything that you do in jiu-jitsu is going to break down into, have you been in this position more than your opponent, right? So if you've been training for 2 years and your opponent has been training for 20 years, you might say, well, it's impossible to beat them. No, that's not true, because they have not spent 20 years in every single position in jiu-jitsu. There's going to be a few positions that they have avoided because they don't like, or simply because they've reached a certain level in the training room that they naturally avoid them. And if you've been training for 2 years in one specific position that happens to be the position that they've been avoiding, then all of a sudden when they get into that position, they don't know what to do. They don't have that 20 years of experience. So that's the trick. Now you got to home in on certain aspects, you know?
Have you seen, I mean, has there always been like this, like the upcoming blue and purple belts that are
of course,
really well belts and
definitely.
like that? Now, is that more or less them to highly developed portion of their game going against, and that's like the aberration and
that's right. The superstar blue belts or purple belt, they come out and they either have a highly developed part of their game, or they might have something very unique You know what I mean?
College level athlete, pro athlete.
Well, just like they might have kind of, I'm not going to say invented a new technique, but they might have specialized in maybe an underutilized position. They might have kind of tweaked traditional movement to make it different enough that the standard defense doesn't work. Their timing might be different or something like that. So, those super, I think every school kind of has the super kid. You know what I mean? Like a young kid, maybe 16 or 15 or whatever, and he's been through the kids program, and all of a sudden he's a blue belt or a purple belt, and he's just wrecking everybody. You know what I mean? But then it goes back to experience. He didn't get his blue belt the day before. He has 10 years training, and now he's a blue belt because he has the proper age.
And you've seen that from Lloyd Irvin, right? You had Mike Fowler. You had what's the guy? BJ.
Yeah.
Kid Dell, who's fighting on our card, he got his black belt in 3 years. So I mean, he was one of those guys that that took to it a little differently than others and took a non-traditional route.
Yeah.
Orlando Sanchez, Professor Orlando Sanchez said he got it in 4.
Sure.
Under Homolo. He's a beast.
Man, I mean, there's a lot of examples of people who got their black belts in a relatively short amount of time. But what people don't realize is they assume those people are training casually for 4 years. They're training 3 times a week. Yeah, that's not the case. Those people have put in the same amount of time in 4 years that most people have put in 10 years. So that's why they're the black belt. Yeah, exactly.
It is math.
It's always going to break down into experience. There's no magic. You know what I mean? We live in a real world. There is no magic. It's always going to break down into experience. So you have to look at it. When you look at a match, you can look at total experience, and then you can look at individual positional experience.
It's like a pilot, right? They don't say, how many years have you been a pilot? I've been a pilot 20 years. Oh,
yeah.
How many hours do you have a flight time? 10 hours. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, and look, I mean, the easiest way to see this is like in the kind of the early ADCC, you saw some amazing jiu-jitsu athletes get beat by unknown wrestlers.
Eddie Bravo versus
John Jock.
That's true as well. Obviously, Eddie Bravo had a lot of experience with his system, and he was able to overcome Hoyler and this kind of thing. But what I'm talking about is like a jiu-jitsu guy has been training for 20 years, and he gets beat by a wrestler who nobody's heard of. Maybe he's been training jiu-jitsu for 4 years, but he's able to take the guy down easily, and then he is good enough to neutralize the rest of the guy's game, and then he wins on points.
And that's kind of like an Orlando Sanchez guy like that.
Yes.
Heavy wrestling base, came into ADCC. I think he was a blue belt, or what was he when he fought at ADCC? A blue belt shoes.
I'm not sure.
No, but he came in and did what he did at ADCC. With minimal jiu-jitsu.
But it always breaks down to experience, man. It always breaks down to that.
John Jock,
and that's the good news too.
In ADCC back in, I think it was 05, 04. I don't know.
To who?
It was a wrestler. I don't remember. He was a brand new wrestler. John Jock?
I think you're confused, Professor.
No, I'm pretty sure. It was either John Jock. It was one of the Machados, right? It was one of them.
Okay, so
I believe it was Higan.
You had Higan Machado lost to, I don't know which country, some Scandinavia. I think it's Norway.
It was a
John Olav Einemo. He's a jiu-jitsu guy, actually.
Well, at the time.
I think he's a jiu-jitsu guy, though.
I
mean, you're right. He was like a blue belt.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right.
He's a guy who has this. Man, you get a strong wrestler with good base, with good tendencies, with good fucking posture, and it's fucking hard.
Well, something else we have to talk about is that you have to talk about belief too. So, like, look, let's say, so I'm a black belt. I train with a beginner who's never met me. They've never trained before, right? Well, one thing that you don't realize is they have not been conditioned to lose to the black belts, right? Not to me personally, but just to the black belts. So when they come to train with me or some other black belt,
coming at you.
They are coming 1,000%. So you're still going to beat them, but it can be a bit of an awkward match sometimes because they just do weird things, and it's it's definitely not very aesthetically pleasing to look at, but the black belt's going to win.
It's not
flowy. But now you take that same guy, maybe, 6 months down the road, he's still a white belt, but now he's been conditioned to lose because he's lost for 6 months in a row every time to this black belt. So what happens is he gives up much easier. He assumes he's going to lose before the match even starts. So this is a big, big thing that happens. And this happens not only in training, it also happens in competition. So belief and kind of that mentality of you're going to win or you're going to lose. I mean, anytime a blue belt goes against a black belt, a lot of times the blue belts, they're beat before they even start because they're like, well, this guy's a black belt. He's probably going to beat me anyways. So as soon as they find an excuse to bail out of the match, they will. Now, you have some people that never, ever, ever subscribe to that kind of mentality. They're like, I'm in the match. I'm going to beat you. I don't give a shit who you are. And that's when you have talented blue belts, purple belts. They come in and they beat these guys, not because the black belts aren't good, but because they just come at them 1,000%. And again, even the black belt is used to those blue belts and purple belts kind of giving up at some point. And then when that doesn't happen, it throws off their mentality, right?
And you would say it's a combination of that will, right? That it's that will.
It's belief.
It's a will. It's also could be a combination of things. It could be age. It could be cardio. It could be whatever. For whatever it is.
It could be that too. You know, a lot of times the black belt goes into that match.
Cardio.
The black belt goes into that match, and they are not. They think it's going to be an easy match.
Correct.
And I'll tell you this: there is absolutely nothing harder than going into a match thinking it's going to be easy, and then it turns out to be hard. That is the absolute worst feeling in the world. But if you go into a match expecting it to be very difficult, and then it turns out to be easy, that's no problem. So I think we had this discussion when we were talking about fighting girls, and I mentioned that I fought like kids before.
Children. You fight
Yeah,
children.
I fought young teenagers before. And I mean, you know, the best thing to do is just go in and try to give 100% every single match. You got to try to beat people as quick as you can.
Yeah, so my first day at GBTX, I was able
You
to
were like some motherfucker, right?
no, I was able to just train, right? I didn't have to do an intro lesson because I had some experience and I'd won like a recent local tournament, so I was able to do the advanced class. The first person that I ever rolled with was Professor Brandon,
Oh, really?
and it was guard passing.
Bro, you've heard this story multiple times, and every time you say, "Oh, really?"
No, I didn't know that. That's
Dude,
great.
I've heard Ricky tell this story.
Really? What happened? What happened?
Yeah.
Like, tell me it
So,
again.
I'm trying to pass, right?
Tell me about
I
me.
get to I get to
nice,
double under.
It's a
position.
memorable one.
I get to double under position.
Let's rephrase that. I let you get the double under position.
Well, so actually before that, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do so good. He's gonna be so impressed. Like this school's gonna be like, man, this guy's so good.
Let's give him a purple belt.
Let's sponsor this guy.
No, I knew I wasn't purple belt, but I was just.
You were
knew
close.
that.
You were close.
Blue.
At least blue. I'm at
You're
least
a
a blue
three-stripe
belt.
blue belt.
I'm
Three-stripe
at
blue
least
belt.
a blue belt.
He's like,
Blue
I'm
and a
gonna walk
half.
out today with 3 stripes.
3-stripe blue belt.
I
They're
think
below.
I think what I did was I just dove in for this double under. Like
That's right, blue
I
belt.
just fell right,
Uh-huh.
and I was trying to pick up your hip, and you got me in some sort of like a Americana from that position.
Okay.
Like it was a shoulder lock, but
Sounds like something I would do.
Right. No, what's crazy is that I told you this story when I was a purple belt one time when we were training or after we were training. And
During the roll.
you showed me the same submission, and I forgot it. I can't remember.
I forgot it too.
But you.
What a great instructor and student duo we have here. Hey, what was that submission that I forgot? I don't know. I forgot it.
Forgot
too.
it.
This,
All right,
this has
Fuck
been
it, you'll
the
tell me again.
Yeah,
this has been the most detailed, interesting story
Hey guys, so
on the
that
podcast.
submission, we don't know what the fuck it is.
Hey, you remember that thing with the stuff that happened that one time?
Yeah, I remember.
I do remember
Amazing.
one time, the first time I ever rolled with Professor Brandon, it was like, all right, he Ezekiel'd me from mount,
Yeah.
and I'm a big guy. You know, I got at least 100 pounds on him, and I just do the big.
It's looking like 2 right now.
It doesn't matter for mine.
No, but I bridged, and he still had the Ezekiel in it. I was like, oh, I got out. As soon as I did that, he drug my arm across my body, took my back, and choked me unconscious. And I was like, how did this little guy
I didn't
do that?
choke you unconscious. That's
No,
not true.
that was an exaggeration, but it felt like
I'm
I
a
could've-
gentleman on the mat.
It felt like I could have went unconscious.
Don't
at one point.
hey, don't
You're
feel
really
bad.
nice.
Don't feel bad.
It was just, it blew my mind that seeing the size, you know, I mean, it's insane.
Oh, dude.
I tapped to Professor 135 Brandon's shoulder pressure one time.
No, man.
Jiu-jitsu in the house.
Dude, so
Absolutely.
there's this one student that we used to have. I think
There's
he was
many
a-
of those.
I think he was a purple belt when he stopped training, but he was a bigger guy. I'm not gonna say his nickname because I'll just give out who he is. But
Johan.
he told Brandon like, "Hey, Professor, how come you never train on the heavy side? Because we split. Sometimes when the class is particularly,
I know who this
Did
is.
he say that to Brandon or?
He said that to Professor
oh,
Brandon.
shit.
So it's like, hey, under 165 over here. If
He doesn't
you're
train
over-
anymore,
He
right?
doesn't train anymore.
Yeah, I know who
over
he is.
165
Brandon's
over
like,
here.
I'll send him home quick.
And so he was like, "Yo, Professor Brandon, how come you never train with the big guys?" And Professor Brandon was like, all right, you and me are training. And I remember just.
I like him too. Like
he's a great
yeah,
guy.
I like him. He's
I
a
hope
nice
he-
guy.
I
He
hope
was
he
cool.
comes-
I
I hope
wish
he
he would
comes
come back.
back.
too.
I
Yeah,
hope
I
he
like
comes
him.
back.
I kind of feel like you should have titled the story "So and So's last day of jujitsu."
So-and-so's last
No,
name.
that's not true. He didn't quit
Brought to
after
you by
that.
Professor
He
Brandon
didn't quit after
Wolverine
that.
Moss.
He really didn't quit. He came back plenty of times after that, but I just
That was the
remember, like,
heartbreaking moment.
Yeah,
though, right?
it was like he felt, you could tell, because he was a purple belt at the time, you could tell he felt he had enough skill combined with enough weight to like,
He was big.
he's strong.
Yeah,
too.
he was probably. I mean, I would say he's 230.
I watched the roll. You just stayed on his back.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I mean, aside from that, it would be disadvantageous to like you're
Yeah.
not gonna pull a half guard against.
And you know what? It was garbage too because I actually trained with him all the time in no-gi.
Yeah, so it was a little weird. But
Yeah.
I remember hearing the call out.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yo, Professor.
I remember that.
Hey guys, so
And I joke around about calling Professor Brandon out, but let's just get some things clear here. I in no way believe anything that I ever say in that regard because I've gotten my ass kicked every time.
Yeah, he may be shaped like a
I'll
very
call him out.
skinny
I'll call him out. I don't care.
13-year-old.
Athletic.
Hey, FYI,
Athletic.
Ryan sent me a DM earlier saying like, "Look, I'm going to tell you guys that I don't mean to call out Professor Brandon, but deep down he said I feel like I'm going to get him one day.
I'm
I'm
like
just putting
I'm like
It's
maybe-
probably going to be the same day Alan hits
I'm
Rooster.
gonna call
but-
him.
My berimbolo is very.
I'm
developed now.
like
It's coming along,
junior
so.
varsity strong safety on like a strong 3A football team.
man, I'll call him out.
You know what I
That's
mean?
cool.
Anyways,
You're a little slow to be a
You know,
So you're going
No, but
for
strong safety gets a head start.
you're at the county
I'm already
championships, not state.
I'm already like 15 yards back, son.
But you're tired because you have to keep running back every.
No, I'm in
single
shape.
day.
When you see me get tired all the time, I'm in shape.
You'd be a good cornerback.
This is way too
No, I'm
much.
too slow for that.
This
Too
is way
slow.
too much football for a
Too slow
jiu-jitsu
for cornerback,
podcast.
man. Too slow.
hey,
I actually
so-
told my coach that.
So Oliver, what do we got next? What do we got
Oh, they
next?
got mad. They were talking football.
Oh, look, I love soccer, bro.
Fuck
So
you.
let's keep going.
Go.
Shut up, man. You guys are brown as fuck. You should be calling it football.
Go.
Whatever.
Football.
That my people. That's right.
All right, what you
Domingo,
got?
Domingo,
What you got?
Domingo.
What you got? What you got?
All right. Actually, we got a couple of submissions from.
Actually, it's Sábado Gigante.
Yeah, Sábado Gigante.
Isn't Domingo Sunday though?
Domingo is Sunday.
Yeah. So on Sunday, shit's going down. Domingo, Domingo, Domingo. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Monster,
we ain't talking about Sunday. We're talking about
monster
Saturday.
trucks. I'm not talking about Saturday.
God damn it! Stop slamming the fucking table.
Look, I'm passionate about Sunday, man. It's
Hey,
the-
it was just
that's the
Easter.
Lord's
Chilling
Day.
at GDs right
that's
now.
the Lord's
You know?
Day, bro.
It was just Easter. The goddamn it, like that's a lot.
That is true. That is.
Thank you for our Christian base.
Flab Nabbit.
Yeah.
Nabbit. Yeah, it was a zombie holiday. It was
That's
great.
right, man. Okay, so I guess we can get into what's in the box. If you
What's
guys want to
in
get
the
into that,
box?
what's in the box, motherfuckers? What's in the box? All right, so
Did we not get pizza today?
no, man.
Oh shit!
I know. Did you
I
throw
talked
in
to
some
a
money
tricky
for
about it
pizza?
too, and I just ate Whataburger silently in my car by myself.
So
That's too
I
embarrassing.
was wondering why you were in your car for 30
TI.
minutes and
Yeah.
paper little pieces of paper coming out.
TFTI, man.
so I
I
felt
almost texted you, and I felt guilty enough that I was doing it for myself. I didn't want to spread that gluttony or whatever I was experiencing onto you.
dude, it was a what a feeling.
You're welcome.
The what if
It was a what a feeling.
Oh, feeling.
Exactly. Dancing on
All right, what's in the
ceilings.
box?
What's in the box? All right,
Dancing
so
on the ceiling. It's about inverted guard,
man,
guys.
that's my boy right there.
It's about inverted guard.
This is
That's a song about inverted guard. If you don't remember, put your 80 songs in the box, and I will tell you how they're related to grappling.
Dirty Laundry. Mr. What's his name from the Eagles? Don Henley. From
Don
the Eagles.
Henley.
Dirty Laundry.
What's Dirty
That's
Laundry
some
about?
dirty keys, right?
No.
No.
It's like
Dirty
acting
laundry,
like acting like a wet
Dirty
blanket during
Laundry
mount.
is about a student who's talking bad about his instructor, and then he gets kicked out of the school.
Ooh.
That's what it's about. What's in the box?
What about smooth operators?
It's about a guard pass.
No. He was silky like that, right?
There you
Exactly.
All right.
Combo.
What's in the box? Christian G. When was the last time you used BJJ in a street scenario, and what is your go-to move, jujitsu move, when it comes to street scenarios?
Like a street fight?
Yeah, like a Gracie breakdown, I guess. I
When's the
don't
last time you
know.
got in a street fight? Like,
Yeah.
Ryan got into a fight recently, semi-recently.
It wasn't really a fight. I mean, we were out with some friends, and it just drunkenness and double legs, and just it was.
Two
Well,
legs,
I'm
man.
not proud of it. It was kind of cool. It was like training for war and getting to finally go into battle and shoot people.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool.
So you shot him.
I probably would have.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I mean, the most common
you
submission
shot for a double leg.
that you're going to use on your friends, family, and opponents in the real world are the renegade choke and the guillotine, maybe a triangle if you end up on bottom. Don't get too complicated. Just keep it simple
Yeah,
and blast
so-
people.
So no flying go-go platas?
So the
No.
Okay.
No.
The last time I got into this kind of altercation, it was this guy.
When was this?
Fuck, I don't know, man. At least 4 years ago.
Okay.
At the very least. 4
Okay.
Years ago.
Statute of limitations.
He was the older brother to a guy I went to high school with,
Uh-huh.
and he just kind of hung around the neighborhood. And I had heard that he was like saying bad shit about me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I hadn't talked to him in weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, why are you? So I go to his house.
Yep.
I knock on the door and I say, yo, man, I heard you've been talking shit, dude.
What up, dog?
Did you say it in
No.
Spanish?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
So-
Dude.
But I wasn't.
So
being,
say it in Spanish.
I really don't think I was being confrontational. And I was like, yo, let's talk about it.
Say, how'd
And
you
so-
say it?
Outside.
No, and
Let's
yeah,
talk about it outside.
Well, yeah, because he lived at his mom's house. So I was like, yo,
So hold
I
up.
was like, yo, let's talk about this outside. And
Professor, is this a story about Professor Peacock not wanting to be confrontational?
no, this is not the peacock.
This is
story.
pre-Peacock.
This is pre-peacock.
This is pre-cock.
So I said, yo, come out here, let's talk about it. And he slams the door in my face. Right? So
Ooh.
just slams the door. Boom.
Rude.
So at this point, my conversation's over.
yeah.
Right?
He's trying
So
to
I
avoid
go-
the
So
confrontation.
I had a little Ford Ranger, right? I go back to my truck.
Step side.
I go to my truck. I open the door. I get in my truck. And I
Splash.
start to turn the car on to leave.
And he bum
At
rushes.
this point, he's running at the truck with a broomstick in his
Yes.
hand, right? And
She a
starts
fucking
swinging-
witch?
Yeah, and starts swinging on the truck.
Was it
with-
sharpened on one side?
No, it was just
Moved
a
up.
broomstick. He clearly unscrewed it from the broom part and just started
Shit.
running out here. And so he starts whacking my truck window. At which point, I'm just looking at him through the window, like
You're like,
can't believe
dude.
this
You're
is
like, dude.
fucking
It's a
happening.
Ranger. Yeah,
I'm
no,
like,
I
what
got
are
you.
you doing? And then eventually my window busts.
Yeah.
Like he busted the window. And then I popped the door open, which pushed him back. And then he swung the broomstick
Broomstick.
on me one more time. And I evaded it and I ended up in a standing arm triangle.
No way.
Yeah, this is legit.
That's
I ended
awesome.
up in a standing arm triangle.
Osotogari.
Osotogari.
Paragoshi.
So I just Osotogari, he falls, and I'm just in the mount position, punching him till his mom comes out. And,
His mom.
and his mom comes out. This is a 30-something-year-old man at the time.
Did
His
she say adios
his
mio?
His mom comes out and she's like, I'm going to call the police. And I say, call the police. Look what he just did to my truck.
He just attacked me.
Yeah. Fuck
I'll hold
you.
him until the police gets
Yeah,
here.
fuck you. I'm leaving. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
left.
So that was the last time you had to use jujitsu. Okay, so what would your go-to move be if someone was like,
Double leg.
say, bro, let's do this?
Nah, clinch. I wouldn't even say double leg. Clinch.
Yeah, no,
Just clinch, you know?
if somebody was just like, go,
We're gonna
All
close
right.
the gap.
I would probably throw a 1, 2, 3 and then just clinch up and take him down.
Do that old school Diego Nightmare move. Yeah, and then you go in.
You gotta yell yes real loud, and then you double.
Yeah, or maybe a.
I'm gonna go with the jab cross lead hook and then
Yeah.
see what happens after that.
Yeah.
All right,
I mean,
what about you,
You
Professor
gotta have a
Brandon?
cross.
Well, I mean-
you have to have a cross and just go like this.
you got to think. I mean, 99% of the time, you get into a real fight, it's going to be with an untrained person. All you really need to do is cover up until they run into you, grab them, take them down, and then again, you're going to be doing rear naked choke. You're going to be doing guillotine, maybe a triangle. That's your go-to. That's all you're going to need, really.
So I have a question for you, Professor.
Ah.
I guess getting into this. So typically, I mean, as trained martial artists, I mean, we don't necessarily go and look into fights for everything. You know, we try to diffuse the situation as best as possible, maintain that distance. If obviously, what technique do you expect typically from a street fight altercation?
Oh, just big overhand punches.
And you think that would lead you to the clinch pretty
100%.
naturally?
I mean, if you look at get on YouTube and type in street fight, and this is what you're going to see. You're going to see two untrained people.
The world
throw-
star.
Yeah, they're going to be throwing like huge windmill punches, and they're literally going to run into each other. And
Yeah.
sometimes they fall down, sometimes they don't. But like, that's a pretty good assumption to make. I mean, it's possible it could go wrong. But for the most part, if you just cover up,
You can get that looping overhand. every time.
and you're going to clinch them, and you can either control them, you can put them against a wall, you can take them down and mount them. You can do a lot of stuff. I mean,
You know how easy it is to get double unders on something.
yeah.
It's
And,
that easy, right?
one thing I told one of the
Spin
students
to the
one
back real
time
quick.
is that like the moment somebody walks into a jiu-jitsu school, they are already harder to take down than a regular person, simply because they look at the class and they expect you to take them down, right?
Yeah.
If you get into a confrontation with a regular person, they're going to expect you to do what they do, which is ridiculous punching.
And
Or they believe you're not going to take them down.
well,
Yeah.
you see that a lot on these internet fights too. These World Star fights and all these just shit videos you see pop up. It's always people start boxing, someone will clinch up, go to the ground, and they'll say, "All right, let him up, let him up, let him up, let him up." You know, and it's
Fuck that.
no.
Well, a lot of
offense,
times they start off like looking like a boxer or something. They throw maybe like a jab, and then again it degenerates into just these huge overhand punches. You know?
yeah, they just get loopy and sloppy.
Yeah.
What about you, Coach Ricky? Or actually, hold up. Did we get a time when the last time you had to use jiu-jitsu in a real world situation, Professor Brandon?
Too busy making pizzas.
I did. I just remembered it. It was actually against a friend of mine, and he was drunk, and we weren't really fighting, but like we were drunk. Excuse me. He was drunk. I wasn't. And I was filling up my car with gas, and he was like out, like just hanging out, and he wanted to like wrestle, and I was like, man, get off me. And then he started getting like more aggressive and more aggressive. I was like, dude, get off me, man.
Yeah.
And then he like grabbed my shirt and like ripped the pocket off. And I'm like, dude, come on. And so then I just kind of like clinched him, and I did like a little bit of some kind of trip or whatever, and I put him in knee on belly. And he was moving so slow and so awkwardly because he was so wasted. I just sat there knee on belly with my hands on his shoulder, and I was like, stop moving. What are you doing?
Excellent.
And then, until he realized, like, I'm completely drunk. I'm on the ground. I got all dirty now. And I'm like, shut up and get in the car. And then he did. And that was it.
Yeah. What about you, Coach Ricky? When's the last time you had to use jiu-jitsu in a street fight situation? And then what would be your go-to move if you could, plan the situation?
I never have. I never really have been. in a
You're
street
talking
fight.
to one of the
You've-
nicest people. on
you've
earth
always-
right
Okay,
here.
so look, what's your favorite friend challenge match?
Oh, okay. When I was 16, I was at a high school party, and I put a triangle on my friend. Right, so I was on bottom, of course, and I got a triangle from the closed guard, and for whatever reason, so the
He tried to slam you.
No.
Quinn Rampage Jackson.
The party is like packed, but people are looking at us like y'all are weird, right? For like wrestling with each other. And I put him in a triangle, and he postures up as hard as he possibly can, but not like how he should have. It's more like he just leans back. So I get a triangle, and then he pretty much just
Pulls you into the mount.
pulls me into the mount, right? And I look like the coolest person at that party. Right, because then this guy's tapping, and then like I
You gotta
let
get your
go,
balls out of
and
his
he's
face.
like, and he's like breathing hard, and I just like
That's
Go
it.
get a beer.
That's the day Ricky became Mr. Steal Your Girl.
I love when people attempt like pro wrestling moves on you. Have you had that happen?
Boston
Stone Cold Stunners are the best,
No.
man.
Boston Crab.
If you
Man.
have Stone Cold Stunner somebody, you haven't lived. I'm serious. That's like the best thing. You run up on somebody and just bow.
What?
Come on.
No, you got to pedigree
you
somebody.
don't run up on somebody.
Oh,
with a
the
Stone Cold
pedigree.
Stunner.
Choke slam?
Nah, bro.
You back up into him.
No, with a Stone Cold Stunner, you walk up to their face and
No,
you
you
do
kick
it.
them in the gut, and then you turn around and you do the chin on the shoulder.
Yeah, but
Does that really work though?
Yeah, it's great.
Does
running
it?
up on someone
Street certified.
is an RKO, because the RKO comes out of nowhere.
Just
Jesus
kinda,
fucking
so
Christ.
driver.
Yeah, so RKO, they got to kind of be facing away.
Yeah,
You
RKO
just
comes out
run
of
up and
nowhere.
You just run up and you boom.
What's
So-
the RKO? Randy Orton or whatever?
What's the what's the button
Wait,
combination
we don't
for
say
that
that?
one?
Oh,
But what about like you go and do like a Death Valley driver? You remember Taz, like back in the day?
I do not
Taz,
remember Taz.
Come on, man.
he sucked.
Like Taz, he was kind of a jobber, but he
Taz.
still would get in there with the Death Valley
He
driver.
kind of sucked.
He'd
Yeah.
get the Death Valley driver, just bow. Game over.
When I was in elementary, that was whenever Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock finished their trilogy.
WrestleMania.
Jesus
I
Christ.
love that. I love that Kurt Angle's move was like an ankle lock.
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah, and
It's
he's
so
a
that-
fucking wrestler.
Ken Shamrock had the ankle lock as well. He just,
He had the heel hook, didn't he?
yeah, he had the ankle, like the Boston Crab ankle
Yeah,
lock from behind.
yeah.
Kind of like a,
Man, I always thought like the actual professional athletes were the worst pro wrestlers.
Yeah.
like Kurt Angle, Ronda Rousey. Who was the other one?
Didn't Floyd
Ken
Mayweather-
Shamrock.
Mayweather punched the Big Show or some
He
shit
got
like
choked slammed by
that.
the Big Show.
Good.
Did he really?
You should have done it.
Choke
Yeah,
slam.
I always thought the pro wrestlers actually did a way better job faking it than the real athletes.
Yeah,
not
because
the real,
that's
excuse
what
me, not
they
the real
train for.
athletes,
Because,
the professional, the
a pro-
other fighters.
A pro wrestler's job is to make any kind of random bullshit look like an actual.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
actors,
Right.
basically. is all
So,
they're
yeah,
doing,
so they're
you know?
pretty much glorified actors.
They're fucking circus players. I mean, they're fucking.
But,
they're basically like in a
like
circus.
the women portion of pro wrestling back in the day, when you had like the Debras and like the Tori Wilsons and all
Yeah.
them, they helped me, through, my.
They were hardcore though.
helped me through puberty. It was
China,
awesome.
like
That
China,
Howard
China
Stern,
helped
Howard
you?
Stern late at night on the E.
Or it's like
Hey, you used to get
HBO
blown out
after.
boobies, bro?
Ryan,
Yeah,
Ryan,
yeah,
hold
you
up.
used to have,
Hold up,
nudity
hold up.
on it.
No, they never had nudity, which I
Ryan.
never understood. No, they
did. I
would.
100%.
No,
blurred out.
Yeah, they would
Blurred.
digitize it. They
Nope.
wouldn't.
Ryan,
you're
Ryan.
wrong, Professor. You're wrong. I'm telling you.
I am right.
Because I used to
Ryan.
always think like, why is this not on
Can I
HBO?
Hold
ask
up.
you something? Have you ever seen E from another country?
Okay, we're not talking about another
Oh,
country.
No, hold up. Time out.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't count.
That doesn't matter. It was
you're a-
Channel E. I saw nudity.
So, okay, speaking
Hey,
about
they-
other
they don't
countries,
have
hang
the
on. I want
same-
this is an interesting, or this is interesting to me anyway.
okay.
So,
this is interesting to me, anyway.
well, I think
Fuck
I
everybody
think it'll be
else.
interesting to everyone too.
You finish the
So,
box.
I went to I went on a bit of a European tour, and I don't know, maybe it was like 2015 or something. I went to
Every year?
no, just like 2015. I went to a bunch of different countries, right? And I went to Holland, right? And I stayed with Professor Jordy Pute. Shout out to Professor Jordy Pute, and he let me stay at his house, and I went for a run with his girlfriend at the time, and they live in a city called Maastricht, which is like right on the border. So we got to run from Holland to Belgium and then back. It was kind of cool, right? So like, the day was nice, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take my shirt off and run and get a bit of a tan, right? Not that big of a deal, I'm not going around I'm not walking around town with my shirt off. I'm going for a run. I'm exercising. It's not that big of a deal in my mind. And so I walk out to meet her, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Where's your shirt?" I'm like, "Well, I'm just gonna get a tan." She goes, okay, I guess. And I'm like, whatever. So we start running, and I realize that like everybody is looking at me. You know what I mean? Like as we're running through the town, and everyone is like looking at me and like, who is this guy or whatever? And I'm like, hey, what is the problem? She goes, well, I mean, nobody runs without their shirt off.
You're in one of the pastiest cities trying to get a tan.
She's like, that's really weird. You're making people uncomfortable. And I says, excuse me? Didn't you tell me the other day that Holland has they have a nationally sponsored porno channel called The Maidens of Holland that is like free.
And a sex museum. I mean, they have like,
Exactly. They have a state-sponsored pornography channel, and they are offended that I'm running without my shirt on?
Nobody want to see your nipples, dude.
How does that work? How is that possible?
Well,
You
when
need-
I
you need to
lived
pick
in
up some
Germany-
bitch
I lived
tits
in
like I
Germany-
got.
I lived in Germany for 3 years when I was in the military. 19 years old. Like we got in some really weird situations. Like we'd throw on our camelbacks, put some Bacardi in there, some Coke.
Oh
and
my
we're just
God.
sitting there running through the town like
Coca-Cola?
Coca-Cola. Yes.
Quaka.
So we get down Coca-Cola. So we get down and we're running around, and like we stumble right in. They call it the monkey fuck fest.
Uh-huh.
It's like you gotta have a wristband. You get on all these bars, but what the whole thing is, it's like a sex festival. So like all these bars are hosting like dildo booths and like.
Whoa.
You're-
I'm just talking
I'm
about
just
taking the
saying,
job
like-
with my shirt off.
So
look,
did you
look.
go for 3 consecutive years?
4 years ago.
Oh,
I even
shit.
went back on vacation. No, but like it was crazy. Like I'm 19 years old. Like I just got back from Iraq. We're like running around drunk as shit. It's 3 PM, and there's some like German lady with hairy armpits hawking dildos out of a bar we go to all the time. It was just like it was always like
Well, it just blew my mind that, I mean, Europe is always supposed to be so like sexually open
Liberal, yeah, they're very
and
liberal.
and it just like blew my mind that they were like weirded out that I was running without my shirt on. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Maybe it's because there was no chest hair.
There was a little bit. There's a patch. There's a little bit.
They were like, why is this 13-year-old boy running around without his shirt
I want to
on?
make a really bad joke.
I bet someone was trying to help you find your mom.
A bit older than that.
Jack House that way, sir.
All right, Alan, Professor Alan. So when's the last time you had to use jujitsu in a street
No,
fight?
man, I haven't had to use it. In recent, ever
You
since
never
I
had to wrist lock a motherfucker?
no,
the
ever since
streets.
ever since
Business
I've
deal
learned
handshake.
Jiu-jitsu, I haven't really have to use it, but I'll tell you this: whenever you're showing someone something or you're hugging someone, without a doubt, you're putting pressure on these people, right? Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of times I'll give my son a hug, and he's gasping for air. I'm like, what the fuck?
Are you trying to choke your son when you
Well,
like
no,
during
not
the hug
choking.
time?
It's not choking. It's all the pressure, right? So, I would say you use it every day, right? We just don't notice. Like we can't.
Oh, your reflexes are better for sure.
course, of
I catch stuff more than I used to.
Well, that too. But if
I
you
don't
put-
fall
Have
down.
you seen Mr. Miyagi and the Karate Kid catching those flies with his chopsticks?
Let me
Some
ask you
real
guys
shit.
a question. When somebody goes in for a hug, do you go
Over
double
under.
unders?
Double unders. Double
You go
unders.
Double unders.
Actually, I go over under.
I go neutral clinch.
Yeah, I go-
I go
neutral.
neutral.
Clinch. I go over under.
You give him a shot.
I wait.
Yeah, I'm a gentleman.
I wait
you
to
go
see.
double over.
No, I go.
That's a
I don't
shame,
trust
Ryan.
anybody
And
that
you're in
goes
the
double-
wrestling class. You know what I mean? That's a shame.
But have you seen how many
Double
suplexes
over?
happen from double over?
I'm
Like, I could,
embarrassed.
I could like totally suplex.
Ryan,
somebody.
I don't want to put a thought in your head.
Ryan's
but
trying to pull
when,
guard.
When you're at the altar and you go in for your kiss, you got to have at
Tie
least
clinch.
one underhook. No, you got to have at
Tie
least one
clinch.
underhook.
Tie clinch.
Or at least hand on the hip, ready for the
Well,
underhook.
I mean, the joke's on you guys. We're having a live sex show at part of our
Oh,
wedding, so like,
shit.
we're not gonna kiss each
It's
other.
gonna be the
on mouth.
honeymoon.
You're like,
and
bitch, this is year number 5.
This
It's
is
like
this
we
is
have grandma in the corner.
this
with
is like-
closest friends and family just banging on the altar.
this is like OG consummation. This
So
is like
you know what I want to
Game
know
of
is like,
Thrones style.
Did Ryan say he
shit.
Oh, was that your girl?
well, you know,
Oh,
what,
shout out!
what I want to know is
Shout
like,
out to
if that,
Lisa.
So let's say somebody decided to do that. Like, let's say somebody decided to have
consummate their marriage
yeah.
on the
What
altar.
what I want to know is how long would it go on before people would start to leave?
Oh, so look, here's the thing.
You know,
is
like-
that the husband is gonna tell the wife, like, look, I'm gonna finish really early, but like, we're gonna keep going.
No, or
Yeah.
like you're saying,
Yeah.
I would
It's
wonder
hard to keep
who
on.
would be the first person to react.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. You like how long? Like, okay, would somebody step in when the kissing got inappropriate?
I mean,
I'm
or
letting
like,
it go.
you know-
I'm gonna look to the side. I'm
you know,
like,
when
There's
somebody
gonna be music playing.
when
It's gonna be
somebody's
like,
top
you know,
came
normal
off,
wedding.
would people just sit there like, I don't want to?
As
I
soon
don't
as
wanna say
as soon
anything.
as Ryan's shirt comes off, people are gonna start throwing up.
he doesn't need to take his shirt off.
I don't need to take my shirt off, just my pants.
No,
I'm not
fuck
banging
the
her with
pants.
my man
Exactly.
Zipper
breast.
goes down.
Exactly.
I'm just laying
Exactly.
pipe over here, son. I'm gonna take my shirt off.
Jesus.
You fuck your wife with shirts.
Yes, and my socks on. When you got
Oh, dude.
Wait, we're talking about in the middle of a reception.
We're talking about warmth and comfort here. I mean, what,
socks on is comfortable?
Socks on.
What-
Socks
what-
on is.
Look,
One
hey,
of my students told me the secret to hooking up with an overweight girl is you got to tell her when
Keep your
she
shirt on?
well, yeah, when she goes to take her shirt off, say no, keep it on. I think it's sexy, and then you don't
that's
see
when,
it.
That's when you
I
say
think-
no, turn the lights off. I think it's better this way. It sets the mood.
Well, you could do both.
dude, everything you grab is a boob at that point.
I don't think so. I think you could play it off.
It's amazing. All right.
You gotta
Are
throw
you-
some flour and some water on that thing. You gotta, you know
Well,
what I'm saying?
I'd be more amused instead of watching the show, just watching everybody else.
That's what I'm interested. Exactly. I want to know
You
at
haven't-
what
you haven't seen me
point.
have sex before, so how do you know something?
And I want to know, like, if they decided to have like full on sex, how many people would stay,
Crowd reaction.
and then just be like, congratulations.
Look, it's a religious thing in our family.
You know?
It's like widely accepted. We're gonna sit there and watch us consummate our first child together.
Well,
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
What religion
Who
are you?
says this is widely accepted?
What
Look,
religion
guys,
are
don't
you?
judge me for my upbringing and my sexual
judge you for
conquest. that I
whatever
You're
really
like,
am.
you will all be witness
All
to
right.
the new beginning.
Look, all right, guys. So,
Oliver, what about you?
So-
when was the last time you used jujitsu in a street fight?
Yeah. How about you?
honestly, I'm not gonna say a street fight, but like,
Fighting for the burrito at the fucking taco center.
look, why you gotta be bringing up burritos, man? Like, fuck, we
Why
didn't
you
order
bringing up old
pizza.
shit, Alan?
I know, I want that shit.
Oh shit.
No, so like, I mean, I'm sure you guys have experienced when you tell people that you train jujitsu, everybody's like, oh, do you want to wrestle? Hey, show me something cool. Hey, this, that, and the other. So I have a blow up bounce house in the upstairs of my house. And when I show people it, they're like, oh, that's cool. We should wrestle in it. And I had one of
No way.
one of our former students. Yeah, he came over.
Tim?
Yeah,
Tim?
no. So he came over. Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, cool." I mean, we had a drink or two.
I bet.
So like a New Age Neverland Ranch, basically.
Well, yeah, but it was all consensual and it was all of age, so we're good to go. But yeah, it turned into, hey, do you have a blow up house? Yeah, that's cool. Hey, we should do some jujitsu in there. okay, so you're half drunk and someone's in your bounce house
He
and
tried to
they're
punch you?
no, he tried to like from the knees spring attack double leg me, but like at my shoulders. It was really weird. It was like it was a jumping tie clinch.
I thought something else. I was about to ask for you.
No, I mean look.
But if he's trained before, he knows that's some bullshit.
Yeah, he knows that's some bullshit, so I had to Kimura the shit out of him. But like in the end, we both finished, so it was okay.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm a
Hey,
giver.
make sure y'all come to my wedding May 18th. I've been tanning my ass daily. Very brown, very bronze, very tight.
Just your
Yeah,
ass?
Yeah, just
that's all
ass.
you're gonna see, like when it's happening.
Can we change the subject?
Yo, can we GoPro that shit?
I think we've exhausted this topic.
Let's
Can
do Berto's beer.
Hey,
let's
hold up.
let's do Berto's beer.
Producer Zach, can you go ahead and pop up a quick pic of
I think you already drank it. Actually.
of Ryan's tanned ass just whenever we go to upload on YouTube. So we'll
Professor
get that
Berto,
here.
did you already
in a minute.
drink
Brown
it?
filter on.
I did not
Excellent.
drink my beer.
Sepia.
Are you gonna
I will-
shave your ass?
So the beer that I brought for you guys today is a little switch up. It's actually a stout. It's called O Fudge. It is actually a chocolate brownie stout
Excellent. Who brews it?
by Prairie.
Prairie.
Prairie Artisan Ale.
What percent volume is the brownie?
Percent volume?
Yeah,
You
like
wanna know-
how much of the beer is actual brownie?
So you want alcohol by
Yes.
volume?
No,
Yes.
I want brownie by volume.
Brownie by volume.
Yeah, you
I don't-
said-
I don't have to research that.
You said it's a brownie stout. Is that
let
right?
me go look at it.
I mean, how much of the-
He wants the BBV as opposed to the ABV. You-
From what I hear,
Are you
it's
down
like-
with BBV?
I'm down with BB.
So I guess
Brownies.
Ryan, are you gonna be getting
Brownies.
drunk before?
Big beautiful women.
brownies.
No, brownies.
Oh, big beautiful.
Now,
Brownies.
big beautiful women like brownies. That's how they got so big.
You know what? I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I'm not big. Well, no, I'm slightly big. I'm not beautiful or a woman, but I also like brownies.
Brownies are great.
They're
I'm a
amazing.
big woman. I love brownies.
Hey, shout out to someone who makes some bomb ass brownies, Professor Sandy.
They are good. She makes a
Everything.
plethora of delectable
Everything.
treats that
Absolutely.
she drops off for our enjoyment. Very good.
Absolutely.
So now, not to totally change the subject, but I want to get more insight into.
As long as we're getting off you having sex, I'm into changing the subject.
Thank you, Professor Brandon.
Did Brian say he would let people get the underhooks on the hug?
No.
He
I
did.
said I was going. No,
He
no,
did.
No. I said I was
He
going
did.
double overhook so I could throw you. That's kind of.
Dude,
That's,
that's
the same thing
dude,
as letting someone get the underhooks.
look, man. Okay, say
He
like-
wants, he wants to test his jiu-jitsu.
that's like saying that is exactly what somebody who's lost the
Why you
underhook. That's exactly what somebody who's lost the underhook battle would say. No. I was going for underhooks or overhooks.
Brandon,
I was going
I-
for overhooks.
Someone who's
my
gonna
fair share of
conceive his
people.
first
It's like
child.
no. You didn't sweep me. I pulled guard.
Sometimes it be like that. So.
It don't be like that.
I'm gonna let this person
All right,
put
so
me in a great position.
Yeah.
Hey, why do y'all gotta pull some like brown belt, black belt shit on me? I'm like a year in the wrestling game right now. I'm still trying.
Exactly. And you should know better than to give people double
Yo,
underhooks.
he does have a second,
I
a
ha-
good second push though.
Oh,
So-
he's got a great effort. I never complained about his
Great
effort. He's got a great effort.
So,
But
guys-
we have talked about being a little bit more technical.
He doesn't like it. I say it's sort of like wildebeest, like a wildebeest. Wildebeest. Hashtag water
Wildebeest
buffalo.
is a prey animal.
No.
I mean, if you want to be associated with a prey animal, that's fine.
No.
Just saying.
No.
Wildebeest is a prey.
Water buffalo. No.
No, that's
no,
also a prey
I'm a
animal.
water buffalo.
No.
I got you. It's like an
Great white
ox.
buffalo.
An ox.
Like an ox.
Jaguar.
Yeah, like an
keeps
ox.
going.
What about
A very
like,
well conditioned
No.
white male.
now like here, like a bush bull, right? A bush bull is like a domesticated bull that's escaped into the wild, and they become like highly aggressive.
Wait.
And they are huge as well. This is a real thing. Bush bulls. It's no joke.
So as a wild,
Like, I mean, I'm like
Well,
200.
no. Not talking about your size. Just talking about
Can we
your-
call him bush
your wrestling.
bull?
this bush bull is
Yeah.
a wild animal that was domesticated, that was reintroduced to the wild.
Yes, it's
Okay.
a domesticated cow, a male. It's a bull, and it has escaped. And
Can he
it's
get milk?
It's probably like maybe.
No, it's a male.
yeah.
Alan,
Okay.
hold up. Talking about Alan.
Yeah,
Alan,
go
Alan.
get some milk from a male.
Well, I'll tell you.
Suck that down.
I
You
will
don't
tell you
milk
an
a bull.
interesting fact
If
about
you-
domestication. If you take a domesticated pig and you release them into the wild, within like a month or so, they will completely change.
They
into,
start
like, a
growing. They start
feral
growing
pig.
tusks.
It's nuts.
They do. They start growing
Their
tusks.
color
yeah.
changes. It's pretty nuts,
They'll
man.
grow a mohawk.
No, but I mean,
They get a mohawk sometimes.
Like
I mean,
be- like
the
Bebop. Bebop.
the rebellious
You
ones.
get a mohawk and
I've been deep in the Berimbolo game.
They-
The punk ones
With a
do.
They
wildebeest
start
or
fighting
something
ninja
like that.
turtles
I
and
think
shit.
wildebeest is a fucking.
I don't think a wildebeest is
Badass
gonna
name.
Berimbolo anybody. I've been deep in that game. Like,
All right, guys. Hey, so
Hey, I got
So-
some beer for you guys.
here we are with Berto's beer. We still have some what's in the box to address. Let's give us a brief rundown on the beer, and then we're gonna
So,
drink and talk about what's in the box.
So the last 2 weeks, I brought 2 beers that were more on the goes sour edge of it.
Gose, according to
Gose.
Professor Brandon, correct?
It's actually
Professor Brandon,
pronounced
Gose.
But this one tonight is an imperial stout with brownies.
Excellent.
Ooh, it's called O Fudge from Prairie Artisan Ales. Now, Prairie is out of Oklahoma, which I will say is the only good thing to come out of Oklahoma.
Whoa!
That's false.
Hold
That's
up,
false.
Time out.
Check your
I
tone,
agree.
son.
I agree.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have
I'm sorry, Barry Sanders. Yeah, sorry.
we have a very loyal Gracie Baja student that comes out of Oklahoma, Mr. Ronnie Callens. Yeah.
Man,
so
I haven't seen Ronnie in a long time.
Oh,
Hey,
man.
Ronnie and Kim, I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you guys
Shout
are
out.
listening.
Hey.
And shouts out. But
I follow them on Facebook. Kim seems to be doing amazingly well, and no bad news on Ronnie. So I'm assuming they're doing great too. Can't
awesome,
wait
man.
to see you
I
guys
hope-
next
I
time you
hope
come
that-
in.
Yeah, I haven't seen them in a long time. I hope they're still training.
Shout out.
Anyways, this beer is not like the others that I brought, which were between the.
I can't
3
even
to
focus now. You
5%.
talk about Oklahoma. John Smith, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, come out of there.
Yeah, like that's what I
God,
said. Barry
dog.
Sanders, one of the best running backs. Yeah, whatever.
shoot.
11% alcohol by volume. So
Excellent.
There you go, gents.
Is that BERRY or B?
I could not get a measure on the brownies by volume.
It's Bierry, Bierry.
It's
Bierry.
French.
Yeah. Excellent. All
I
right.
think it's good.
So,
Zaki Poo.
man,
Doesn't smell good.
he cracked this open and it does smell like brownies, man. It smells like brownies.
I think it's a bit too heavy.
It's drop. Professor Allen, you may have to chill on this one.
I'm done.
What's the?
It is 11% alcohol by volume. You want some more?
Damn, Coach Ricky stepping in, showing his aggression.
Ugh.
That thick body, he can take a lot more.
Yeah, I'm not for me.
Is it too heavy for you?
It's good, but it's a closer for me, and I'm not done yet, so I'm gonna set that over there.
Yeah, I'm already thinking nail in the casket type.
Let me see those.
Stouts and porters are usually closer beers for me. I call them dessert beers because
Or
they usually.
nightcaps.
Yeah, I like the aftertaste.
So actually,
Yeah, that's
let
good.
it warm up a little bit. Normally,
Let it warm
Stouts,
up.
stouts.
Yes,
the
so-
darker the
so
beer, the more you want it to be room
this is one
temperature.
of the things
I don't
about
drink warm beer, man.
This is one of the things about beer that people have a big misconception about, that the colder is better. This is actually not true, because most of the conventional beers are just very flavorless. So
I don't know what kind of beer you're drinking.
what you want to do is, when you have a stout
Let me get
or
a
a
shaper.
darker beer, you want to let it warm up till about 50 degrees, 60 degrees, so you can get all the flavors
Celsius
out
or
of it.
Fahrenheit?
Yes.
Fun fact: -40 is the same whether it's Celsius or Fahrenheit.
That's what Twin Peaks beer.
And that was random facts with
Yeah,
Coach
those are-
Ricky Rivas.
Those are random facts with Coach Ricky.
Excellent.
Anyways, if you drink a darker beer like a porter or a stout, especially if it's higher in
What about
ABV,
Kelvin?
I would suggest you let it warm up till about 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
Who's
Beautiful.
who's Kelvin?
Really?
Yeah, I don't know who Kelvin is.
Hey, does anyone know the conversion from Fahrenheit to Celsius?
Is Kelvin your boyfriend?
Who cares?
Is Kelvin your
Fahrenheit
boyfriend?
Google does.
Fahrenheit is far superior to the Celsius scale.
So you know, like in Europe,
how
they
so?
drink their beer warm.
It's
all the time.
American.
Guinness,
Absolutely.
stuff like that came warm.
Absolutely.
It's kind of a normal thing. Hey, can I get a beer? It's warm.
Absolutely. Room
Yeah,
temp.
I mean, beer drinking came about before refrigerators, so it's okay to drink room temperature.
What?
I'm glad I didn't have to live in that.
We're not living in the past.
I,
This is the future.
I still
Yeah,
want
look,
my
I
beer
still-
cold.
look,
We
I
drink
apo-
cold beer.
Listen, guys, I apologize for Professor Brandon's baby tongue, and that he cannot handle, beer.
tongue.
Quick question.
I am
quick
not
question.
ashamed to drink beer that I like.
Quick question.
Baby
Yeah,
tongue sounds
Was this beer
small.
cold or
He has a
warm?
It
little
was cold.
tongue.
It was
This
cold.
beer was cold.
It was
Little
cold.
tongue.
Case closed.
So yeah, you ruined it on the serving, Berto.
No,
You ruined it.
No,
Yeah,
let
you
it
did.
warm up. Be patient.
You ruined it.
Have some patience.
You should have
If you want
served it to
patience,
us appropriately.
you drink whiskey.
I think Zach said he wants a little bit more of that. That dark
You like
gold.
I'm not.
A little bit of Black Betty there for you.
Yeah.
Dude, this shit is delicious.
All right. Hey, we got one more What's in the Box for tonight.
I'll give him a little more.
What is it?
So what's in the
It's a
box?
good thing there's people with actual palettes on the podcast.
Got pals for days, son. Stack them up.
We have a bunch of pallets in this.
A lot of
Out
palettes.
back.
in this-
You guys talking about that wooden shit?
Yes.
Yes, it's
Wooden
wood.
ballot.
That
Yeah.
wooden
Correct. Correct.
BYOP.
That was the joke.
Well, Air Force does have metal pallets.
That
463L
was the
pallets.
joke.
That's neither here nor there.
Good
What's
quality.
the last?
All right.
box?
The last what's in the box is something we touched on previously in one of the earlier episodes, but we can I guess dive into it a bit more. But it's from Raymond V. Do you think no-gi grappling will ever be in the Olympics? Do you think it should, and under what rule set?
Who wants to take this one?
No, I think if jiu-jitsu makes it into the Olympics, it would probably be in the gi because it distinguishes it from they already have
Wrestling.
freestyle wrestling,
Yes.
Greco-Roman wrestling. So I think if it makes it in, it's probably going to be in the gi. And then, I mean, even though it's comparable to judo, I think that's probably the most typical. I mean, that's probably the most likely scenario.
You think it's gonna be a hybrid IBJJF, US or not US?
Yeah,
but
I don't
Olympic
know. You
judo
know what?
rules?
I think it's probably going to end up being like similar to the Abu Dhabi Pro rules because the match times are shorter. It's like
5 minutes. I think
6
they're 5
minutes.
minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
5 or
5
6 minutes. But to be honest, like I don't think putting jiu-jitsu in the Olympics is maybe the best idea because then it gets taken over by the IOC. They're going to change the rules, and again, you're going to lose some of the essence of the sport. And I think one of the things that makes jiu-jitsu favorable to a large range of people is once you reach black belt, you get 10-minute matches.
Yeah.
So that's going to give people who are technical but maybe not physically at the highest level a chance to implement strategy and technique. Whereas when you shorter the time limit, it's gonna favor the person who is athletically gifted.
I feel like
Those
in
red
that
blood cells, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like in that situation, jiu-jitsu is more of a practitioner sport than it is I guess
Olympics will be under
observers.
those grappling rules.
There you go. An observer sport, because like you said, when you get to that higher level, you have these long matches and for the uninformed, people who, don't really watch sports but tune into the Olympics are going to see two people, in a guard position, going back and forth with sweeps, people defending and everything. And
There's also
it's
high level drug testing at that level, so it's going to be, you know what I'm saying? You don't only have to
Look.
beat your opponent, you got to
That's
beat
a-
the test.
Yeah.
Well, so look, one thing
It's
about
rapid.
the
gotta change
entertainment
the
aspect is that
standings.
there's walking in the Olympics. So
Speed walk.
speed walking.
yeah, speed walking. Speed
You gotta have
walking
a
is
foot
in
on
the
the
Olympics. So like whenever you think about the rule change, like I feel like the rule change would be to give more action. Right?
So I have a
it's
question for you.
So it's more like a spectator
Spectator
sport.
friendly.
Why don't you
Yeah.
turn it into like a grappling, judo, and jujitsu, kind of just combine them?
Well,
all
I mean,
together
that's it.
and say, let's go for it, motherfucker.
Kind of like a
that's
catch
a good
wrestling.
point that Coach Ricky
submission
brought
wrestling.
up. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think a jiu-jitsu match is at least as exciting as walking.
Yeah. So
I think the
Speaking of
issue is
walking-
that the sport itself isn't as popular.
You were-
we had a
you
clash
know?
of styles, right? At the qualifiers, you had an Olympic level judo guy from Cuban, national team
Uh-huh.
versus a 2-time All-American wrestler. And
Yeah.
you saw how that played out. And that was
Yeah.
kind of intentional. I
Stos.
wanted to see it myself.
Oliver had a sharp take about walking.
no, I was just curious. You were talking about how
Very strict rules.
Wa-
You
yeah.
gotta have one foot on the ground at all times.
Absolutely. So I
I'm
wanted
serious.
to know.
I'm not joking.
I
That's a
wanted
real
to know
rule.
how loose the walking rules were
They are very strict.
previous to the IOC coming in.
They are very strict.
No,
drug testing the
is your
competitive
hip
walking.
before
So-
walking was in the
look,
Olympics. What were the rules?
right,
I'll-
but
I'll
is
t- I'll
street
tell you what.
walking different
All joking
than
aside,
Olympic walking?
watching the walking event kind of entertaining.
You know what? Dude, it's all hips. They're like,
Because what I love is when people get disqualified.
yeah,
They're like, "That's bullshit. You're not walking. You're jogging. You're out."
2 feet were off the ground at one time.
Yeah.
Dude, but it's like shoulders and hips.
Because
They're
it's
fucking popping.
I mean, walking has a definition.
Are
You
you
know what I
saying
mean?
that's the same as saying points or an advantage in jiu-jitsu?
Avantage.
No, it's a DQ.
There you go.
You know, it's a DQ.
automatic
man. You're out.
DQ.
You're not walking, son.
You're not walking. You're jogging. It's
Quit
out.
jogging
You're out.
in this walking
You're out, man.
competition.
Dude, I kind of
Bitch.
I don't know. A lot of these Olympic sports, they're played all over the world, right? So you have soccer all over the world.
Like, how can curling? How can
I don't know.
You know
I
how
don't
is
know.
that exciting? But jiu-jitsu
I
isn't.
want to know how you get into this Olympic committee where you're sitting at the table and they're like, all right, guys, you know what? The Olympics have been kind of dying down. We don't have as many viewers. Ratings are going down. What should we add into this?
trekking.
Something
Well,
that
okay,
America
you know-
does
you know
is
what the
fucking walk.
You know what
Hiking.
the problem is with like sports like wrestling or jiu-jitsu or judo or whatever being the Olympics is that the people who they have running
Corrupt motherfucker.
like no the people who they have running the coverage of those sports are fucking retards. So I've seen they will show
It's a hard R.
some.
Very hard R there.
They will
It's a real
show
hard R right
like
there.
highlights when an American places in wrestling or judo or whatever. They'll show so-called highlights of the match, and it's like horrible. They don't show any throws, they don't show any takedowns, they don't show anything. So I think a big part of it is they don't make it exciting at all. They show like all of the I remember clearly seeing, I can't remember if it was a wrestling match or a judo match. One of the Americans had won a medal, and the highlight they showed was the American getting a penalty. That was the highlight. And I'm like,
Special Olympics or like the actual Olympics?
dude, it's the actual Olympics, man. So I think that's part of it. Like they have to present the sports in the right way. Like they need to show the correct highlights. They need to show the exciting stuff.
And that's why Third Coast Grappling commentary team will be in the Olympics 2030.
And you know
Your
what?
hair will
It's
be
the
grayer,
Olympics.
Professor Allen, but
And
the knowledge will still be there.
Hell yeah.
I'll tell you what. I hope jiu-jitsu is not in the Olympics, and the reason is for this,
Right?
right?
Keeps it pure, man.
So jiu-jitsu, for the most part, is informal. It's an informal martial arts. People don't
Retard.
it's not very
That's what
strict
they're
like
retard.
other martial arts, right? So
Jesus.
I would rather have it like that. Have it loose. Have loose ends, right? It's a practitioner sport, right? So I would like to give it.
right now.
People are crying. What I just walk into? Why is everybody crying and laughing?
Professor Brandon dropped a hard R.
So is that,
Did we agree not to say that? That's a real word. That's a scientifically
No, it
applicable
isn't.
word.
No, I
It's like
agree with you.
faggot. Like you call somebody a faggot doesn't necessarily
No,
mean a
it
gay
is
male.
no, it is.
Yeah, you
not
can say
like
that.
Faggot. It is not like faggot because faggot can be a slang term.
Hey, fuck you, faggot.
Retard is a legitimate scientific medical
Yeah.
term.
No, but be like, this guy's being retarded. Like, you're not saying like this guy's eating paint or like trying to bite his
Yeah,
elbow.
no, I understand.
Like, you're like,
Ryan,
hey, this guy's
Ryan,
acting stupid.
I
People who
understand.
People who paint have a disease called pica.
Yeah, so Ryan, I understand what you're saying, and I'm agreeing with that fact. So that's what I'm. So retard
Hold up, I
does
thought-
not specifically mean paint eater.
I'd like
There's a plethora.
I'd like to give a shout out to our excellent producer and editor, Zach Marshall. Thank you for hopefully not getting
Hey,
us.
look, the Black Eyed Peas had a song called Let's
Yeah,
Get Retarded.
that's all right.
I mean, it was edited to Let's Get It Started, but it started out as Let's Get Retarded. I mean,
Dude, people are come on, man. People are way too
cannot be
sensitive,
sensitive
dude.
about that because it's called mental retardation. That's a technical term.
But if you call somebody a
Yeah.
fucking retard, it doesn't mean that they have like, autism or something. It means
Yeah.
that they're acting stupid.
Yeah, it just means you're being dumb. Quit
Dude,
being
look,
dumb.
look. I think this is acceptable. If you call someone who is not retarded, no problem. If you call someone who is actually
Totally
mentally
fucked
retarded, you call them retarded. That's a bit harsh.
Yeah, that's
I
a
wouldn't
bit
say
harsh.
that.
You call me
and
retarded, I'm
and
fine with it.
I never have done that.
That's like calling Ryan fat.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't do that.
No.
Because he's a,
He's a little heavy set.
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna let that one go.
I think
y'all can have your free shots.
That would make.
I'm
that would make.
just waiting for the
okay.
next transformation picture. That's
It's
all
okay.
this is.
You know,
That's all this is.
When I
Ryan.
do that, I'm gonna
Well,
put
it's
it next
only
to-
Monday, so he's probably put out 2 already.
Yeah, he's
No, it's actually just been only one. It's Motivation Monday.
Right.
So
Motivation
check my
Monday.
shit. The only reason
Transformation
Ryan
Tuesdays
puts on
tomorrow, though.
weight is so he can transformation picture.
Bro, no, like putting on the weight has been totally been good food and pussy. I mean, let's
Yeah,
just be honest.
he's gonna be driving.
Like, that's
he's gonna be
been-
driving.
Wait, hold
home
up,
from
Ryan.
training.
Ryan, which one are you eating and which one are you fucking?
If it's Taco Bell and pussy one night, you never know. I mean,
I'm just
it might
saying.
be-
He's gonna
Oh, I
drive
kind of
home.
want some Taco
Ryan
Bell.
I'll
said
fuck it,
eating
chalupa.
paint.
Pica.
Is it like eating paint?
Pica. That's a real.
fucking Taco Bell flavored paint. Line me up.
That's a real disease. Pica. They crave
Paint flavored
minerals.
Taco.
Minerals.
All right, so
Minerals.
Oh, you like this wall? Look at it.
I'm coming back at 200 pounds before Professor Allen makes rooster. I'm throwing it down.
You're already 200 pounds.
I'm 230 pounds, but I'm coming.
Are you 230?
Yeah.
God.
so now
I'll bet that Ryan makes under 200 before Professor Allen gets to Rooster.
now that
100%.
Oh, of course. Professor Allen will never make
I'll
Rooster.
put money.
You're gonna
down
take
on
that hate.
shit
You're
right
gonna take that hate, but I'm gonna win that bet.
Hey,
It's not
nothing
hate,
to
it's the
worry
truth.
about. Nothing to worry about.
I'm coming.
all right, so
Nice.
Raymond V. That's why
On the
jiu-jitsu
day
shouldn't
of
be in the
the wedding,
Olympics.
right?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Well-
why jiu-jitsu shouldn't be in the Olympics.
Got a bit off topic. But just
To wrap
to
things
go back
up.
to that, Nogi might be an option because it seems to be maybe a bit more popular worldwide. So maybe they would do that. And I know that. So
Ricky is crying right now.
so
ladies
used
and
to
gentlemen.
they had so Fila, not the shoe company or the athletic apparel company, but Fila used to be the head organizing body for wrestling events, and they had a FILA grappling competition, and they had it was run by I think the IOC or something like that, and they had several different events. I think they had gi and no gi. You can look it up. I don't think they have it anymore, but they might actually. I'm not sure.
I think they stopped back 2013.
What did FILA stand for? I can't really.
I just appreciate you wrangling back that back
FUBU
end.
is like
I
for
can't-
us by us,
Well, first of all, FILA is not FUBA. It's two different things.
FUBU,
Yeah, no. So
So he was just asking. He made an example.
like an example of an acronym that had some.
Do you need to go, Ricky?
All right, that was fucking retarded.
No, you're good.
no. All right. No, I don't know what FILA stands for.
Federal Immigration Lovers Atlanta.
No, that's not it.
That is absolutely.
But
not
they,
it.
they did have some. I mean, the whole goal of that was to make it an Olympic sport, and Abu Dhabi Pro, the people who put on the ADCC and the
Mo Jossum, those guys.
those guys are also they're trying to get jiu-jitsu in the Olympics.
I kinda
They're-
feel
they're,
like
they're
all
doing
the-
just gi. I
I
think.
kind of feel like all the prince and fucking kings and
So,
all this shit
yeah.
from Abu Dhabi are gonna fucking take
just,
over.
And they fucked the price point up too when we're trying to book these guys.
I mean,
the
they're
sheep
fucking
paid me
everything
20
up.
grand. Well, fucking go back to Abu Dhabi and fight for those motherfuckers.
Not a
That's
real
fucking
sheep, right? Not a real sheep.
Shit.
Just
Not
a
a real-
quick, I know everybody's really concerned with what FILA actually does stand for. FILA was created in Velia, Piedmont by a guy named Gian Cervero.
Excellent.
FILA
So,
was his last name, so it's not an acronym. It's a person's last name.
but it's
Gian
still
Severo.
Did he wear the
it's
shoes?
still the
Excellent.
Yeah, the apparel.
Not
the,
retarded.
The athletic apparel.
no. But I'm not talking about that. FILA was also like a governing body for Olympic sports and stuff.
I'm talking about the apparel company.
I'm not talking about that.
all right.
He's talking about the
Oh,
shoes.
shit.
No, he's not talking about.
I'm talking about. The
Hold up.
shoes.
Time out.
He's talking about the Olympics.
Has anybody here ever owned a pair of fucking feelers?
No, I did.
I have.
Yeah, okay.
No,
okay.
I haven't.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I used to touch the rim in my feelers.
Yeah, we're all.
I never was into those.
Mine were Battleship Gray, and they had a Velcro
No,
on
mine's were
top
the white
because I
with the
felt
black.
slick.
I was more than British Knights
I
BKs
see that.
all day, baby.
To the
And-
Adidas tracksuit days.
and them roos, them kangaroos.
I had them LA Gear pumps.
I had the regulators.
You ever
regulators.
Kangol hat? You ever wear like
Hey,
a Kangol
Fila's
hat?
had lights too, right?
Yeah.
They had Fila lights.
No,
Yeah.
the LA lights is what it was.
LA lights had. But
They had
I
LA
think
lights,
Fila
yeah.
had. Didn't Fila have light ups too?
Bro, I don't know. All I know is I used to play basketball in Fila's, and I felt fucking very, very ethnic.
Well, it's all about the pumps. When you can pump it up, get that extra ankle support.
Wait, LA Gear or Reebok?
Reebok, the pumps, man.
I feel like Reebok
Pump
missed
it
the
up.
market for fucking penis pumps.
Very.
All right,
They're
so what
already-
else we
they're
got on
halfway
Fila?
there. They're halfway there. They were halfway there.
What else we got on Fila?
All right, so we ain't got shit on Fila, but
Head pumps.
we are getting into Ricky's Monster Manual.
Pussy
Oh,
bump.
shit.
Hold up, time out, Ricky. I cannot wait to get into your Monster Manual.
Can we
I
get
can't.
your
Yeah, we-
statistics?
but-
for Dungeon and Dragons.
Hold up,
first?
no, hold up. But
Like, where are you at right now?
now that we're on our Ricky segment, you do have a new venture you're starting, isn't that right, my mustached friend?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have a little pizza business. It's gonna be called Mustache Ricky's Flying
Pizza pies.
That's amazing. Do you have a Facebook page?
Yes, I do.
What's the name of the Facebook page?
Hold on.
Mustache Ricky's Flying Pizza Pie.
Excellent. So can we start calling you Mustache Ricky?
Yeah, and you know, it like this is what I was telling people. If on the first day, like if there's a lot of hype behind it and stuff like that, I will have a mustache.
So question for you. So are you trying to it sounds like your first venture is going to be something here at Saloon Door, is that correct? You're going to do a
Yeah, and with the potential to start a business on my own with its own location. Like,
excellent.
this is a very low risk, high reward thing, right?
We don't need the business
very-
plan. What we need,
Keep your secret
Hey, the people want to know: are you wearing a beard net when you're making these pizzas? Like you mustache?
No,
Ricky's
I don't have a
pizzas.
Dude, no.
We don't want mustache hair on our pizza. Are you wearing it?
No,
You want beard hair on your pizza?
Are you wearing the beard hair and the net, like the hair net and the beard net? Are you going in there with both?
What do you want?
I don't want hair on my pizza.
the best part is when you get a hair on your pizza, you're like, Ricky, I got a hair on my pizza. He's like,
tube or
"Shh,
face. Like,
don't
Yeah, it's
say
like-
it too loud.
it's
Everybody
Ricky's
will want
Mustache
one.
Pizza.
Yeah. So is this one of those you make the pie, or are you gonna have your customers make the pie?
No, I make the pie. So
Excellent.
about like
Okay.
I want to say close to a year ago, I really wanted to start making my own pizza, and I just went through a bunch of trial and error, and I made the dough. I made the sauce. I've burnt the sauce before. I've tried different toppings.
You got it going, huh?
And yeah, I just kind of made it for me and my girlfriend at the beginning, and then one time I had people over and I made it for them, and then I realized
It
that
took
it's
off.
cheaper to make pizza than
It
to
is,
order
man.
pizza if you're like hosting something.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
And so then I made some.
Other than Dan's Pizza.
And it's like our kimono.
We're
trip.
trying.
So Brandon's starting new businesses. Everybody's here entrepreneurs.
Whoa, hold up, whoa! Is
I
this?
didn't mean to
Hold
drop
up,
that out
hold up,
there,
hold up.
Professor
Before that,
Brandon, but
Coach Ricky,
table full of
on behalf
entrepreneurs right
of the Fifth Stripe podcast, we would love to try some of your pies and can't wait to see
Yeah, we
how
would
you
love for you to
succeed in your
sponsor us,
future
you know,
venture.
as well.
Yeah, so one thing that would happen for sure is that it would
Retard
be
free pies.
still sold
eat
out.
free.
Right, so if you're not there whenever the first ones are sold, you're out of luck.
Oh
Right?
shit!
I'm only gonna make enough to sell like X amount.
So
That
what
could
you're
be
saying?
50,
This is
that
like
could be
Willy
100.
Wonka golden ticket type shit.
What I am looking forward to the most is seeing Coach Ricky turn down somebody for that 51st pizza,
Hanging out.
I believe
because
it
I don't
won't
think he's going to
happen.
be able to do it.
Absolutely,
I
not.
think he's going to be like, you know what? How much time do you have?
But like,
I'm going to go to the store. I'll
where's he
buy
gonna-
some more stuff, and I'll
but
make you pizza.
Professor, no, because
I'll
the
go to the store
yeast
with
has
you.
to rise. It
Yeah.
takes a whole day to get the
Pick
dough
your
ready.
toppings.
So how is he gonna possibly?
I think Coach Ricky will work it out.
He'll say, I'll just go ahead and do it.
I think Coach Ricky will fix it.
excellent.
Because the pizza
You
dough
can't
takes
do it.
24 hours.
Yeah, you have to let the dough.
I
rise.
believe in Coach Ricky's abilities. So
There's
I
no
don't,
zombie dough.
you know, I don't think he
Not
sets
rising
those sort
on
of physical limits on the pizza like maybe you do.
All right,
Yeah,
guys.
like the bacteria that make the bread rise.
But I mean-
yeast?
but I mean, back up the
Those physical
But
concerns.
it's a table full of entrepreneurs here. You got Ollie with his comedy. You got Professor Allen. I mean, he's doing his thing. He's got his new line of hair products coming out. You know, Coach Ricky's Mustache Ride Pizza. You got Professor Brandon. I mean, let's talk about this
I think
nice
that's
little
a way
kimono
better
business.
name.
Kimonos.
Mustache Ride Pizza.
Let's hear about this new kimono.
No,
business.
there was
Look, hold up. Yeah. So
Go ahead, Coach. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Coach Ricky.
Because they were talking about pizza, mustache rides. There was one slogan that was thrown out there called "You've never been on a mustache ride like this before."
So what?
Man.
Space Mountain, you got Mustache
So
Mountain,
let me disclaim something here. My dear younger brother is scared to have a mustache.
why? I think it looks
He-
like a standalone.
He does not. So he kept showing me pictures of mustaches that all
Is it
had
because he's a
beards.
substitute teacher?
I think it's because he's a substitute teacher.
Conflict
Like,
of interest.
He kept showing me pictures of like, what do you think about this mustache?
Dirty
And I was like,
Sanchez.
yeah, it's great, but that guy still has a beard. Like, you need to clean shave, razor to your cheek,
Shit.
fucking mustache.
So, Rick-
I
Ricky,
did it.
Ricky.
I did it.
Imagine in a condo.
Y'all look
How
like
you
y'all
gonna
should
look?
not
Oh
teach
yeah,
you
imagine,
kids.
Coach Ricky, if you would have a mustache, you would have bought that condo that just got undersold for money.
How would you
Bro.
look like walking into a fucking condo?
Dude, you would
With a
walk.
mustache?
You would walk into that. You would walk into that. They'd be like,
Take
"Where's
your
your down
picture,
payment?" You're like,
Yeah, the realtor.
The mustache
realtors
is a
be
down
like,
payment.
Do you want me to give you money so you can put down payment?
This is just like such a different radical look. It would be
It
new
is not.
mustache.
Fuck
It would
the
be
look.
bro,
not.
it would
apron.
absolutely be radical.
I want to see the shape of your
And the apron,
like a
the
Uriah
apron
Faber
can't be
butt chin,
clean.
like-
The apron can't be clean. You gotta
It's
throw
not
like.
going-
You gotta have
fucking-
some tomato sauce on it. You gotta have some tomato sauce on it.
yeah.
I
What's
want to
under
give
the shirt? What's under the
So
shirt?
I want to give
Why
my
don't you-
brother a shout out. So let me state this about
He's
my
right
brother.
there.
Let me say this about my brother. He's not very artisan-y in the sense
And he
that,
wants
like,
to make my
Artisanal?
pizza? Fuck that.
Artisanal? Yeah, no, that's
so,
cool. Fuck English.
I don't believe
Yeah,
that.
so
I don't believe
I
that.
believe he's very.
No. So
I believe he's
my brother
amazing.
my brother's very smart, but when it comes to the, like practical things, he's kind of a little hit or miss. But he made a tomato sauce that like fucking was identical to my mom's tomato sauce without any training from my mom. It was
He's a natural sauce boss.
Yeah, dude,
he's
it's
a
like
natural
it's almost like you
sauce
met her
boss.
for one day and you're like, I got
You
this.
should call
It's
it
not
this
like
sauce
you've
is-
never
I've
known
I've
her
met my
your whole
mom
life.
for more than
So
one day.
if
What?
you ask my brother to like build you a cabinet or like mount your TV or anything practical like
Put a
that,
TV in mount. That's 4 points.
you're fucked.
So
Like, you are
wait, hold up.
fucked.
So basically, what you're
Fucked.
saying is your
Fuck.
mom's not a carpenter.
She's not a carpenter.
Okay,
But
I'm
if
just
you
trying to put
ask
the
me
facts together.
To make you some fucking tomato sauce, he will make you some outstanding tomato sauce.
I believe it.
I'm excited about
I
it.
believe it.
When are we gonna try this shit?
Next podcast.
Next podcast.
Come on.
So are we gonna have the
No,
hot
the hot
pizza
eating
eating
contest.
contest?
Man the fuck up, Ricky.
Pizza eating contest?
Man the fuck up.
Oh shit.
Put the hot sauce on his pizza. Fuck hot
That's
sauce.
fine.
We're doing like.
I mean, I told
Hey.
y'all, I'm down. Whatever.
You
Hey,
wanna
Coach
waste
Ricky.
pizza like that.
Coach Ricky, would your flying mustache rides let me show you the world pizza?
Hey, it'd be like Aladdin, the whole new world.
Would you like-
dinner edition?
Would you like to sponsor our hot eating contest?
Yeah, I would love to.
Excellent, Ricky.
I just haven't started yet.
I
There's a
think
whole
Ricky,
lot moving.
Ricky.
He's gonna stack
yeah.
the deck in his favor. He can't have
This
any
is-
affiliation.
this is-
Not affiliated. hot
So
eating contest.
next podcast,
I
you need
agree.
to come in with a mustache.
And
Fuck
you know
this
what?
shit.
Like, I don't want to beat him at a contest when he's like showcasing his pizza. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that.
All right, we'll use cracker.
So next podcast, he comes in with a
Yeah,
mustache.
As a-
saltines. This is you saltines. That's the most.
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. As a
Saltines.
white Englishman, I'm offended by that
Hey,
term.
the white male dealers.
Whoa.
Or as they are also called,
Whoa.
Olivers.
Thank you.
Saltines.
Get it right.
Saltines would be the most objective because they have the less the less amount of flavor. They have very little salt.
I am
So
very
it would
bland.
be-
I'm very
It would
bland.
be 100% hot sauce. So
Yeah.
saltines, I think,
Just
would be
see-
the most objective.
just
What do
see-
you guys think about
I
that?
think the wafers they give in
I
Catholic
didn't fucking
Church-
ask you.
use them?
Yeah, I mean, I think we should have some food we can enjoy as well. I
Yeah,
mean, the
I
hot
mean-
sauce, I mean, it's not going to affect me.
Saltines and hot sauce don't.
Let's just
sound
drink a
good.
bottle of fucking hot
Popcorn and
sauce.
so-
Yeah,
There you
so
go.
wing.
You
I
know,
like
wings,
that.
you
I
know,
like
or
that.
like chicken nuggets, maybe.
So that's what we call boneless wings.
Or you could just have some sauce and put it on a taco. You know?
Wait. Ooh.
That's actually what they call a taco.
Yeah, it's actually.
We'll get Chick-fil-A nuggets.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A nuggets.
Yeah,
Those are pretty
yeah.
much like
Sponsored by Chick-fil-A, maybe.
Dude.
Twin Peaks
Chick-
nuggets.
No, I already said the target.
Chick-fil-A nuggets are
And
so good.
I'm pretty sure that Ryan's sexual wedding idea has
Actually,
has
Chick-fil-A-
eliminated any chance Chick-fil-A would ever sponsor us ever.
Y'all said the tongue dropping it,
Thanks,
goddamn it.
thanks, Ryan.
Y'all dropped the goddamn it right after Easter.
I
They're
didn't.
not
I didn't do that. I didn't do that.
What are you talking
Y'all
about?
said goddamn it. Chick-fil-A's not sponsoring us.
You are burying us with Chick-fil-A, Ryan.
I said got.
That shit's fucking
Damn it.
retarded.
I'm
yeah,
asking-
GOT.
Yeah, I'm asking
Game
a
of
question.
Thrones. Damn it.
Yeah, I'm like, do you have damn it? You got damn it?
Goddamn.
Yeah,
There was a question
that's
mark.
what I'm
There was a question mark at the end of his statement.
Yeah, god damn it.
Nabbit.
Yeah, just like
God-
damn it.
God damn it!
Jiminy Christmas.
God damn it.
Jiminy Christmas.
God damn it.
I feel bad for anybody named Jiminy. Have you met like
No. Just
Yeah.
Short for Jim.
yeah?
that
Well,
cricket.
how is it shorter
for
for
that
Jim if
fucking
there's more
cricket.
letters?
Pinocchio.
But hey,
Pinocchio.
let me say this monster.
Say it.
Oh yeah. So Ricky's.
No, hang on. I wanted to ask you this. Like, what do you think? Now, you got to be realistic. You can't say, like, fucking some kind of lightning strike or a fucking
Yeah.
fireball.
Yeah, this
What
is a serious
spell-
podcast.
Yeah, what spell do you think would help you the most in a grappling situation? Now, I think we've talked about this off
He
air.
already said haste.
Matt Hamill versus John Jones.
We already said
it. No, this is on there. You said
He said
haste.
haste.
Okay, all right.
We
Yeah.
talked
Chill
about
out.
this.
So,
Relax.
We talked about this.
Chill out.
Shut the fuck up.
Relax.
I want a fireball.
So I said haste, but I also think that there's another spell.
Kamehameha.
There's another spell called slow, which is kind of the same thing.
Wait,
It's your
would
opponent.
that be the opposite of haste?
Haste affects you, slow affects your opponent.
Right.
you,
So
like,
it's the
double cast?
opposite.
Can you, like, double cast?
What is
Yeah,
the spell
well-
Matt Hamill casted on John Jones? So what?
No, it
That was called sign
it takes
language.
concentration, and so you can't concentrate on two spells.
This is getting gay.
Whew.
Really?
Hey.
Okay, so what are you
Sorry.
talking about?
All right, so Ricky's Monster Manual, Sans
What's
the
the
manual
monster?
today. What is it? What are we doing? I'm gonna write it
What
down.
are we fighting?
So there's these creatures called Genasi's, which are humanoids.
Hold up, spine it.
Look.
Spell it.
They're it's GE.
Man, I told you, you got
He
to pick
wasn't
stuff
serious.
people can
Don't
relate
spell it
to.
out.
Hold up.
No.
You lost me
Matt
at G.
Hamill.
You lost me at GE.
All right.
GENA.
Read the description.
The people can relate to this. This
No.
is a humanoid.
Okay.
Right, this is a humanoid. Right.
Alright.
So in D&D, there's elemental planes. There's earth, air, water, fire.
Yeah,
Right,
Like the band.
right,
I've seen Avatar.
right. I've also watched Captain Planet. Tell me about this creature.
This is a air genasi.
All right, with our powers combined.
And so it's,
Also called a gin.
it's a air genasi, and what that means is that it can hold its breath indefinite,
So no chokes.
No, so we're gonna go joint lock up.
Yeah,
blood
obviously.
choke. Blood choke.
and
Yeah, blood sugar.
it can levitate.
Okay.
So it's a human.
No hip throws.
It's a human that can levitate,
No doubt.
and They can hold.
Yeah,
their
but he still
breath
can't slam. Is that right?
IBJJF rules.
Still
Yeah.
can't slam
So,
out of the submission.
I
Is this
say
gi or no gi?
I say guard pull to armbar.
Is this gi or no gi?
Ooh, I don't know. Let's say
I don't know if you can berimbolo if you can't put his.
let's
feet
say
on the
no
ground.
gi. What if it's no gi?
Dude, it's still
Okay,
it's
so
still guard pull armbar.
It's a humanoid. It's not like an air thing. That it's like a ghost or something.
No, it's not an air thing. It's a humanoid.
Hold up, can he levitate just like that, or does he have to meditate?
No, he's
to
always
levitate?
levitating.
That's a good question. That's a good
No,
question.
he's always levitating, right?
No, he's not always
No, it can't be.
levitating, but he can levitate at will.
At will. Whose will?
And that ability is known as mingle with the wind.
Love
Okay,
it.
so
Thank
he
you.
can levitate, but the rules still apply. He can't slam.
He can't slam.
Okay, so levitating not that big of a deal once we're make a connection with him.
But you can't ever take him down. If he can always levitate,
But you don't got to take him down.
he can apply the levitation.
You know,
in the point of a throw.
we mentioned before we talk about jits as a toolbox.
So you're gonna pull guard.
We could pull guard.
But he can stand up.
So what's the,
Or two, like I mean,
tell
if
me
he
what the strategy
well,
is.
hang on. This if we're gonna have a real match.
I don't
there
feel
needs-
like you'll. I don't
okay,
feel like
so,
you'll get
so
your two
hang
for
on.
a
A
takedown.
real match takes place in a mat area. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so there has to be a height area as well. Like there, you know,
Levitation's different from
well,
flight.
it's got to be a volume area. So we
Levitation
not
and
only
flight are
have a
different.
length and a width. If the guy can levitate,
So you're talking
we
about
have to have a height as well.
You're talking
So
about like a cage match.
But all
Like-
matches
like
start on their
WWE.
feet.
Yeah.
All matches start on their
that's
feet.
right. So he can
Yeah,
levitate, but he can't like go up a
What does that
mile.
even fucking mean? Yeah,
But
starts on his
he's
feet.
going to get a stall.
Exactly what
Well,
I said.
mean,
all matches start
he's
on
gonna-
the feet.
he's
And
going
then
to
he
get
levitates.
He's going to get a stalling penalty.
So I have a question for
you know,
you.
if he levitates out of reach, he's going to get Luch. I mean, you know that.
So-
Professor.
so-
You're a referee.
so here's my-
He's being reckless right now. He doesn't understand what you're saying.
So let me understand. Yeah, let me understand. Is this like I said, like a cage?
Well,
like a
it doesn't-
cell in a cell, right? So is he a cubed in on the mat area?
It doesn't need to be a
Regular.
physical barrier. What I'm saying is there has to be a limit.
He's
if
in
we're gonna
Long
have,
Beach.
if we are going to have a sanctioned match.
He's at Long. He's at Long
There has
Beach.
to
He's
be
at Long Beach.
restrictions.
He's
Is
he's
this
in Long
difficult
Beach
to
at the
understand?
pyramids
Well,
at
I mean,
the
you
World.
could just or he just gets DQ'd or penalized if he goes out of that area.
Here's my conundrum. It's hard.
Is
for,
this-
it's hard for a referee to just
word.
gauge how high he's going off of like
Is
a
it that
visual
difficult
context.
to understand?
So-
It's a regular match.
No, we can have a ruler by the mat.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Don't
So,
say regular match, what's the
but
rule?
there should be like a cage or a top or something because it'd be hard for a referee just to judge like, oh, he's over
Well,
5 feet now.
not a-
This is
The Undertaker
penalty.
well,
did man
not a
climb
good
the
referee.
roof. He took the roof off and threw him off the fucking cage.
Not a good referee.
So would there be a roof?
It's a regular match.
Just like
He's not
this.
gonna be
I
flying
mean,
around.
when we have a mat area, there's not a wall keeping us from going off the mat.
I have a
You just-
question.
if you go off the mat, the match is
Yeah,
reset.
but that is
So
clearly,
my-
but that's clearly defined by
I have
the
one
edge.
question,
There's
not
no
a
lot.
upper edge, right? There's
Yeah.
there's an edge on the side. There's no upper edge. So how can
Well,
you tell?
I mean, I get that. I think we're getting off
Who's talking?
a little bit too deep here, but I think that the point I'm
I just
trying.
want to know the rules.
I understand,
It's
and the point I'm trying to make is there will
Look,
be some limit,
Here are the rules.
whether it's a physical barrier or whether it's not.
All right, fuck both of you guys. Here's the rules.
Yeah.
So,
What are the rules?
what are the rules? All right, Sonny reference. So, the
No,
difference.
simple answers.
You guys are confusing levitation and flight. All right, so listen, we're not worried about fucking flight.
That's legit.
Levitation is a 12-inch mark at this point. So here's the thing: if you shoot for the takedown, he has the ability to do an air reversal, and he may prevent himself from ever hitting the ground. So a takedown is going to be
Yeah,
nullified.
I wouldn't go for a takedown.
Right. So you'd have to pull guard. Right. So he has a 12-inch max limit on levitation.
That's good. I like that.
So how about that?
Okay, I like that.
Okay, yeah, so that's easy. I mean, I think you're definitely pulling guard. 12 inches, he can't get away from you.
He can't slam
You
you.
know what I mean?
A 12-inch is still a slam.
Now I've talked about this off air with Coach Ricky. I say we go for a footlock when he's levitated. He can't put his foot on the ground. He can't stop the footlock. Bam,
Well, it's true. And is
Straight
this
ankle
is this
lock.
gi or no gi?
it's no gi.
No gi. So he can't grab the lapel to help kick the foot through as well. So he's also lost the
Yeah,
grip
that's
on
right.
as far as
Is the
defense.
levitation
Or sort of like an
voluntary or
esteem lock.
involuntary?
Could do that.
Levitation
Could do that.
is at his will.
At will.
So that means that he can put his foot down when he wants to.
Yeah,
He
but that's
could
when
put
I-
his foot down, but
That's
if
when I
he's still
transition,
secure.
Professor.
Yeah, if he's still secure.
I would do an
That's
ankle,
when I transition.
an ankle pick, and then pull him because he's levitating.
I'm gonna be honest with
Pull
you.
him.
I feel like at this point, any flying technique is.
levitating.
You
Is
say
it
you're
like
gonna
useful.
wrist lock his ankle?
Well, no, he can't move because he's
I'm
levitating. It's
a
not
ankle
flying.
lock that forearm.
So I would pull him. I would go for the ankle pick. If I catch the ankle, then I pull him. If I miss the ankle, I pull guard.
You got to create the reaction of
Correct.
levitation.
There we go.
How does that happen? Taco Bell, or I mean, which one is? How do you like
Both.
enhance and levitation?
Well, I think clearly.
DMT.
I think clearly.
You gotta go for a
So levitating is really, I think, only going to be an issue before you make a connection. Once you get a hold of that
That's
bitch,
it.
then the levitating doesn't really matter that much.
He's
you know,
not flying.
because you're going to be locked on. Exactly, you're going to be locked on.
He's not going to be flying either, right?
You know, so I would recommend, possibly getting close guard. Of course, this idiot's going to levitate, right? So what I would be looking to do is one, either just a simple type arm drag from a close guard situation, work my way to the back, or when he levitates, I'm a hook and ankle, right? And then I'm going to invert in between the legs, come out on the back. It's kind of an old school fancy move there.
Like a scorpion deathlock.
Yeah.
best of the dragon.
Yeah, that old school
Kiss
movie
the
show.
Dragon.
Kiss the dragon. That's right. That's right.
Wait, but when you get to the back, what are you gonna do? He can hold his breath indefinitely.
Set up the armbar.
Yep.
Come on.
Or the wrist lock.
Kimura
Or the
grip.
wrist lock.
Come on.
Kimura grip.
So the choke is not king in this.
No, because
No, you can't, yeah. Yeah, it's unless you go for a blood choke.
But it's a blood
Like-
choke. If you're
like
cutting
Professor
off the
Allen
body,
said.
That's not holding your breath, right?
That is true.
See, so look, if you're holding your
Oh, hang on. That's a great point.
yeah, so if you're
Holding your breath doesn't actually matter. You're cutting off the blood.
Exactly. Is he immune to blood?
Oh, that's a great point. I
Well,
didn't think
so-
about that.
So there you go.
Professor Ray, if you're holding your breath, what is keeping you alive essentially is the rest of the oxygen in your blood.
I see where you're going with
So
this.
if he can hold his breath,
Obviously, he's able to sustain without oxygen.
So if he can hold his breath indefinitely, it means that he can either maintain the oxygen that's in his blood enough to suffice,
Mhm.
or it's a non-factor.
Okay, well, if that's the case,
Because that's what's happening.
yeah. Okay, so hang on. That's
what's happening.
that's interesting.
That's a sign.
If he's able to use the oxygen in his blood indefinitely, the choke still works because you are cutting off the blood
But if
to
the
the
blood
brain.
is not circulating, then the oxygen. is
But
not
if
circulating.
he's somebody like, let's say, Superman, who doesn't even need oxygen to breathe at all, then it would be different, because he doesn't. The blood doesn't matter.
Yeah, we would have to go into the mechanics of how he can indefinitely. hold
Yes.
his breath.
All right, guys. All right, so we have. Let me say the Genasi. Am I pronouncing that correctly? The Genasi. All right. So our air humanoid that levitates and can hold its breath indefinitely. What's the consensus on the best?
I think the Mendez brothers just got him from Brazil. He's a
Well, yeah. I mean, we want to go for it just because we don't
Is this
know,
Paulo Meow?
because we really don't know
Yeah,
the
goddamn.
whole.
Oh
oxygen
shit! Hold up! Time out,
choke
guys.
situation.
He forgot to. Ricky, you left out the hardest fucking part. Oh my god. Your dexterity score increases by 1. So I mean,
Yeah, but my dex is already super high, so that's not going to be an issue.
I got a super high dex.
Dex Max.
so what do you guys think we came out with? A pull guard to a blood choke or pull guard to a
I
joint
think,
lock?
I think the ankle lock would be the best.
Yeah,
You
we're
think
gonna
it's
go. I
actual
think
feeling?
we're gonna go for a joint lock.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think it's harder to say. It's harder to shake somebody off your leg than shake somebody off your arm.
Yeah.
Like if this sumbitch is levitating, he might just be throwing me all around. I can hang on to a leg a bit better than I can hang on to an arm.
There's more to
I
grab.
think. Yeah,
There's
there's more to grab.
You can coil your whole body around it.
I think. You
I
know.
like it.
Now, if you had to mentally picture this guy, I'm thinking a lanky, tall.
Can we get
Yes,
can we
yeah,
get a
that's-
picture? Hold
And
on,
also
let me see
too,
if I can find out.
like again, if we're in a sanctioned match, there's going to be stalling penalties. So this idiot can't just levitate over and over and over. He's running away. You know what I mean?
It'd be like Brendan Shaw. Versus
Yeah, at some
Cyborg.
point, Professor Berto's going to be falta. You know what I mean? Advantage.
I'm gonna hit him with that yellow card.
Yeah. If we're using
Paru out. I mean, it's
exactly. So I mean, he's going to have to engage at some point. Now, levitating might be an issue. Passing the guard, he may be able to. I don't know about that, but
Here's a picture I found on Reddit. It's called the Water Genasi Swashbuckler.
Is it cute?
yeah. But we're talking about an air one.
That guy's not kicking anybody.
Oh,
I
my
promise.
bad. So no, you're right. Air. Let me so
Could be a totally different thing.
I apologize. I'm not up to date on my how to search for D&D motherfuckers. Here you go. This she looks a bit wispy. How about that one? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What if she tries to seduce you?
Mid match.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, the more I
both
think
get
about
the
it, I mean, we want to pick the securest position.
Yeah.
Because I mean, anytime a submission tip happens, it's going to be levitating.
So
Probably.
if somebody's levitating, would you jump pull?
Yeah, I think that's not a bad
Like, if you
idea.
could not get them down,
But that's not a rule, right? If
They're
they're
levitating.
levitating, it's not in the IBJJF rules. You're not allowed to levitate. If you,
Well, obviously,
that hasn't been
you know, we'd have a modified rule set.
we need to get the
you know
rule
what I mean?
set planned out. ADCC.
I mean,
can levitate some of the
I was assuming that he is allowed to levitate.
shit.
However, all the other rules still apply,
So,
such
yeah.
as no
So
slamming,
no. So here's my
stalling
thing.
penalties.
I agree. So there's nothing in the IBJJF rulebook that says
no levitation.
no levitation.
I would still slam, and when they said you slam, I was like, he's fucking levitating.
Well, yeah, but there's no written established
Clearly
rule.
broke a rule,
Fuck
though.
it.
Well, if the IBJJF, if the guy's Brazilian that's levitating, they're gonna let it go. But
So,
if it's American, you're totally fucked.
It's getting
That's
that
why you
point.
had to just do it.
You know what? Maybe this actually, maybe triangle armbar, right? He knows it. So let's assume.
So, are we
that-
talking about a
I'm gonna tell.
jumping flying
Well, I'm gonna
triangle?
tell you. So let's say that he cannot be choked because of this ability to hold his breath. Let's say that's the case. So what happens is he might be this kind of asshole who's gonna just feed you a triangle,
Feed you the choke.
knowing that it's not gonna work on me. You know what I mean? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get that triangle on. So the triangle is not only obviously a submission for a choke,
It's a control point.
it's a control point exactly. So we want to use that as a control point, and then when he tries to slip out or try to pass, then we're attacking that arm. So
Yeah.
not only are we in full control,
That's a good
now we're
point.
breaking his arm.
Even the shoulder, we got shoulders.
A
Yeah,
double
exactly.
attack, yeah.
Exactly.
A high guard is always good.
What's the thrust power on this guy? Like, if he's trying to pull out of a submission, like, is it like pulling out like, wah!
Like, well, what
Gradual
If your
levitating?
control is good, that should not matter.
kilonewtons?
Yeah, I think you just follow
It
him.
depends how you got it.
What kind of power are we
Yeah,
measuring? Donkey
controls.
power, kilonewtons, or horsepower?
I'd say kill a donkey.
Kilodonkeys?
Kill it out.
You should have.
Well, and
Donkey
also,
resource
so
act.
does levitating
Donkey show,
fatigue him? Like, does he get tired? Does he need cardio to
Whoa.
levitate?
Dude, that's a good question.
You know?
It's like, that has to be a
What?
muscle that you work.
Well,
Yeah.
or does it like suck you dry? You know what I'm saying? Like,
because I mean, you can't just levitate for nothing.
Coach Ricky. Now, is he going to get tired when he levitates?
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, how much?
Does his
Professor
What?
stamina go down?
Levitation
What?
is
Yeah.
a muscle.
what powers the levitation? Is it a roll of
Is
stamina
his
or
diaphragm,
it's
Kegels?
it's his
it's always
constitution.
Kegels?
It's got to be Kegel.
His constitution.
How do you call
So like, it's his right to bear arms and like not
Levitate.
perjure himself.
like they build that wall, he just floats.
He's
right
like, I can hold guns. I'm a fly motherfucker. Like,
Fuck your wall.
Is he inspired?
Fly over.
No, he can for sure get exhausted.
oh, okay.
What does he do when he gets exhausted to regenerate his energy?
He taps.
Water, I don't know.
He taps 3 times.
Gatorade, maybe some electrolytes, perhaps.
I eat Oreos, double stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
shit.
should not do that. That's
Or
why
hang
you
out
look
in the
like
parking
that.
lot 30 minutes before
So
a fucking
that
podcast.
that
what
changes
about
the game a little bit if we know he's going to get tired if he levitates too much. You know what I mean?
Look at Professor Allen.
You could force the levitation.
Exactly.
Donkey.
Force him into his game.
Exactly. We could put the pressure on high in the beginning, tire him out through his levitation escapes, and then once he can't levitate anymore, or
Jump on that ankle
He's
lock.
like,
yeah, then it becomes much more of a normal match.
All right, before we start closing too much out, you did mention levitation escapes. I would like, from a world champion black belt, I would like one example of a levitation escape because I feel like this is something I could utilize in my game.
Well, you can't levitate, so
Well,
it's horse shit.
it's all up here. Up here, I'm whatever I want to be.
Who are you to say you can't levitate?
Just
Right.
gotta use that DMT,
well, I
man.
mean, the easiest way to levitate escape is going to be like getting off of a sweep or something. Let's say a guy's looking for a butterfly sweep, you just fly right out of there.
Well, Coach Ricky left us on Thursday night to go levitate at his Dungeons and Dragons meeting. So
If
you're
you
telling me
I would
that shit's
say-
not true.
I would say the number one levitation situation I come up with is whenever I'm trying to margarita pass and people load, right? So they bring their legs up underneath you and they stretch, they load
Yeah.
you up. So you're levitating.
Yeah.
So you gotta switch your hips and go into the leg.
yeah, but that's not a levitation under your control though.
Levitation
That's not a
situation.
levitation.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Anyway, so I think on the next episode we might need to explore the possibilities of human levitation and maybe we can get into some mystery. How about Alan? Why don't you later this week? Why don't you send us out a little someone that we can look up and do a little bit of research on for some missing persons?
Hey, man. Hey,
Natalie
Natalie. Hey,
Holloway.
wait. Hold on. Quick
Natalie
thing.
Holloway.
Out of
Where's that bitch
wait,
at?
hold on. Wait, I don't know where that bitch is. Anyways, out of Mesquite.
I don't like
Hey,
your
hey,
mainstream missings.
Mesquite by Dallas.
Yeah.
There was a report today. Some chick, 26-year-old. She went. She was at work. She left her kid at the fucking babysitter.
Good.
She
She went to work.
She started driving around. They caught her on camera.
Dude, I saw this. I saw this earlier.
They caught her on camera. She's on the phone. She's acting a little drowsy, right?
Yeah.
They talked to the person who was talking to her. They were like, no, she's acting normal. They found her car the next day, disappeared.
She's gone.
Bro.
On to the next episode. I'm out.
All right. So yeah, on that note,
Damn.
we're gonna get a
Continue.
we're gonna do a brief little what you want to talk about, Alan?
Professor Allen, I mean,
You find someone, send it out.
Bring in some missing people cases, but there's one.
I thought you were gonna say.
thing.
I thought you were gonna say you should bring in missing
What
people.
about Baby Maddie from?
Just don't
Well,
bring in
what I want you to do is I want you to contribute somehow to the case, like, how would you solve it,
Or his theory.
or his theory exactly, or his
All right,
theories.
we can talk about. Hey, give me a missing person. I got theories.
Baby Maddie.
No, so
research, bring it up for the next
Okay.
So here's what it is. We'll do it. We'll do a new segment. We'll do a new segment. We'll try to do once a month or something. You bring in one person. We'll do a quick little
once a month, once an episode.
Hey,
Man, I feel like that could be like a wormhole of some
So
shit.
you're gonna have a lot of info.
That's gonna be a lot wormhole of some
it's a discussion,
shit.
Right? It's an adult discussion.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This is a podcast about talking. We're just talking. I mean, like,
if it's an adult discussion, we got adults.
let's get down.
Next
So
episode.
don't call it an autopsy because they might still be alive.
Sure. Somebody
All
made us
right.
scared
That's
today.
true.
That is true. All right, guys. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in, and please tune in to the next one where we discuss Alan's queries into missing
like
people.
I said, I told you, thin line between a serial killer and a
Yeah,
fucking
you say that
detective.
every time you talk
Well,
about
it's true. I'm a fucking detective.
He is. He
I'm a good
As far
guy.
as we know.
Come
It-
visit
So-
me. I got a van.
As far as we
Professor
Yeah.
Allen, just in closing here, give the fans, our listeners, if they only have to research one missing person case, which one would it be? Number one, just one.
I think me and you come to the agreement. Mara Murray.
Well, I would say Lisa Lam.
Well, that's
I guess you
creepy.
don't
That's
get
more
the
creepy on the
And
creepy side.
Lindbergh,
Wow.
baby. What happened to that motherfucker? Baby
So-
just
He
disappeared.
flushed down the toilet.
So it sounds like our
That's all
listeners
I'm
have
about
two missing
I'm
people to
scared
check
right
out,
now. I got
right?
chills. Next up.
You got chills? Oh man.
We'll do a.
All right. All right. Well, hey, shout out. I'd like to give a special thank you to our guest, Ryan McGuire, for tuning in. Thanks, Ryan. As
out
always,
his Transformation photos on Facebook.
That's- Transformation Tuesday.
We love the kids. We love the retards. We love them all. Up there.
We love all the transformation photos.
Oh
But
man.
you will have donkeys at your fucking.
And Professor Brodo's ever-evolving facial hair.
All right. Look.
shit.
Hey, sorry guys, if we haven't offended you tonight, just hold your horses. We will get to you eventually. I promise. On behalf of the Fifth Strike Podcast, we bid you adieu till the next time. Thanks.